95%. Chapter 541. Huakai found that there are many things wrong on this island. There are many ordinary creatures in such a rich spiritual chi, but there is no beast or spirit beast. The highest level elixir has only the 3rd rank. It is impossible for that elixir to grow to the 3rd rank, and it will not grow. Who removed the high level elixir? Even if the ordinary bison and wild sheep have not been cultivated, they will stay here forever, and the body will not take the initiative to absorb spiritual chi. Who believes this? There must be an unknown secret on this island, and Huakai thinks this may be related to the guardian of the fog. Another fairy island can be guarded by a big demon. If this island does not have a big demon, it must have the same strength, but he has not found any danger except for those formations after entering for so long. I don't feel any sense of crisis. If this island is really imprisoned by a great demon class existence, then it may not have found me, or it can actually leave here at will. It is not on the island now. He might be afraid that the island powerhouse would threaten his own existence, so he killed all the creatures that could be cultivated. This can also explain why no high-level elixir was found here. If so, the intelligence of this great demon must not be lower than that of humans. Huakai was surprised when he thought of this. When he approached the island, he could feel a strong crisis. Now that crisis has not changed at all. Does it mean that the guardian of this island is actually there, and it doesn't have it now? Only found Huakai. If so, the opponent's willpower must not be too strong, and it can't explain why it is so smart, and it can kill all the creatures that can be cultivated on the island. Huakai thought of a possibility. Did the other party fall asleep? There are many legendary beasts that like to sleep very much. Every time he wakes up, he kills all the creatures that can be cultivated, leaving only some seeds to prevent all of these animals from dying, and then picking all the high-level elixir. Think about the mirage that I saw on another fairy island just now. Huakai can basically be sure that the scene is refracted from here. So where are so many spirit treasures? Is it possible to find the spirit treasures just by finding those buildings? The guardian here. Huakai couldn't look aimlessly. He mental energy contacted Wukong, and soon a figure appeared in front of him. Wukong, how do you feel here? Is there any danger? Huakai said while looking at Wukong. Wukong thought for a while and shook his head, pointing in a direction and leading Huakai to explore forward. Its speed is very fast. Huakai didn't find any formation here. In this way, this place must be a place with spiritual creatures coming frequently. Wukong and Huakai walked quickly for hundreds of miles, and they came to a swamp, where the spiritual chi of the swamp was abundant and abnormal. The water in the swamp was all condensed with spiritual liquid. Huakai remembered that he was watching it in a mirage just now. After being here, Wukong brought him here directly. Going further, poisonous insects began to increase in this swamp, and soon he found a first-rank spirit treasure with wood attributes. Huakai didn't take it. The entire island has a spirit treasure of wool here, and there is no formation demonic beasts protection yet. You don't need to think about it to know that there is a problem. Huakai didn't touch it and moved on. Walking a few hundred meters further, Huakai saw another spiritual treasure of wool growing on a stone, and he encountered 2 spiritual treasures at the same time at such a close distance. Huakai watched Wukong continue to move forward and he followed him. Coming to a ruined place, Huakai saw a lake surrounded by various spirit treasures of will, filled with all kinds of mighty powers of the will of heaven and earth. Huakai's Sao Shayi charm kept flashing. Huakai felt a strong willpower to pull himself into the illusion. At this time, Wukong pointed to the lake and signaled to Huakai. Huakai knew that there must be a powerful you here, but he invested in mental energy but found nothing. However, Huakai's strong sense of crisis is getting stronger and stronger. Suddenly a strong willpower swept across him. This mental energy is so powerful that it is unimaginable. Sao Shayi rune flashes constantly on his body. Huakai understands that the enemy may be the existence of a specialized cultivation mental energy. Wukong seems to be totally unaffected by the other party. It also looks wary and looks at the distance and does not dare to approach the mountain. Huakai doesn't care when he sees it here. If the other party is focused on the monster of willpower cultivation, then he has Sao Shayi completely. Fear of the opponent. If the opponent doesn't show up, he can just take away all the spirit treasures of will. Coming to one of the biggest spirit treasures here, Huakai saw that this spirit treasure belonged to the best level spirit treasure here. It was in the location area pointed by Wukong, and it was a white begonia flower-like spiritual creature. Huakai came to the sky above this white crabapple flower. Wukong looked at him carefully from a distance, and when Huakai saw it, he knew that the unknown danger was nearby. He stretched out his right hand cautiously and was about to grab the crabapple flower. At that time, a strange frog cry came. Wakai saw an extremely ugly toad jumping next to the daffodils. The other party seemed to have just woke up from a dream and looked at himself curiously. Wakai used mental energy to detect that there was nothing in this ugly toad. Special breath, it seems to be just a toad. But Wakai knew that everything would never be that simple. A snow-white pearl on the ugly toad's head was shining with a strange light in the sun, and the toad had natural patterns on it. Wakai looked at the toad as a strange one. His eyes were average, and he was a little dizzy just looking at Wakai. Qua. Quack. There was another low cry, which looked very strange in this quiet swamp. Wakai felt that Cao Shayi rune was turning, and he turned faster and faster. He looked at it. Wukong at the back. Wukong motioned for him to come back. Wakai thought for a while and then retreated. The ugly toad seemed to see the enemy retreating. He jumped into a patch of mud and grass, just like an ordinary toad. Wukong, how should this toad be solved? It should be the guardian of this island, right? Wakai asked. Wukong nodded and made gestures to Wakai, indicating that Toad was difficult to deal with, and they were not opponents together, so he let him leave this swamp and go to other places. But Wakai is really curious. This Toad has no traces of cultivation. Why is it so terrifying? I can kill the opponent by locking on the other side with Ji Jian. If I get hit by my Yi Ji Jun, it will be even. It is the big demon who has to be consumed by himself. You mean you can't get the spirit treasure here? We can explore other ruins. Should we try? Wakai said to Wukong. Wukong thought for a while, then looked at the ugly toad that was not far away, and finally nodded to Wakai. As a beast summoning the body of the gods and demons, it can relieve all negative effects and pull Wakai to the farthest one. Next to the first rank Wuling Bao, he signaled Huakai to prepare for an attack. Wakai took out the scary night gun and locked onto the ugly toad. Wukong stretched out his hand and suddenly grabbed a dragon beard grass and fleeing into the distance. The originally quiet marshland suddenly became active, and the toad jumped towards Wakai. Wakai felt a powerful willpower enveloped him, and that willpower was several times higher than Wakai's. Wakai used sweeping Sha Yi to release the imprisonment and hurriedly backed away, and Jian Yi gun flew towards ugly toad. As soon as Wakai released the imprisonment, he flew back, and the milky white liquid flew towards him. Wakai avoided the opponent's attack and saw the white liquid falling on the ground. The whole ground began to melt rapidly. This was the toad spraying. The venom that came out was toxic beyond Wakai's imagination. At this time, Wakai felt that Wukong's willpower was really communicating with him, saying that he wanted to escape quickly, and Wakai looked at the nightmare gun stabbing the ugly toad in the back, and there was a violent metal crash. There were bursts of toads calling from a distance. Wakai discovered that the entire swamp was full of toads. He knew that his attack did not cause harm to the ugly toads, but the other party was also scrupulous about owning the night shot. So I dare not show up easily. Slowly retreating, Wakai used the true eye to explore in front of him. He saw that the marshland under his feet had already been arranged into a formation. The relationship between the ugly toad and here is the same as that between Wakai and Heavenly Horse. Huakai will be very passive in battle. Hearing the infinite frog calls, Wakai's Cao Shayi kept flashing. He took out Jin Sha crown and carried it on top of his head, feeling that the baby's voice was finally weaker. The ugly toad was relying on the power of will to influence Wakai and wanted to give him a fatal blow. Wakai opened the eye of reality and suddenly felt the beating of a figure. The ugly toad was jumping in the swamp, but Cao Shayi didn't. Perceiving this, Wakai couldn't help being surprised. Wakai could feel that the willpower of this ugly toad had reached the 8th level or even higher, and his true strength had reached the state of transforming the gods. The main attack method was illusion plus responsibility. The most powerful thing was his intelligence. It also saw that own illusion had no effect on Huakai, so he copied the real scene in front of Huakai in his mind, and was constantly breaking the illusion by Cao Shayi, and it was also constantly producing illusion. Under the suppression of such a strong willpower, Huakai's actions were not affected, but his reaction was still reduced a lot. In addition to the constant slowdown of movements, Huakai's judgment was also affected. He used the true eye to see when ugly toad had arrived not far from him. He hurriedly retreated, and another burst of white venom was squeezed out from the back and shot at Wakai. Wakai's corner was touched by the venom, and he immediately saw the dramatic changes in the surrounding environment. Numerous toads were jumping in his ears. Wakai knew that he had entered the illusion. I saw that ugly toad had come to him. Zhiji returned to Huakai's hand instantly. Huakai released all the energy collected from the last killing of the sky blue whale. Zhiji stabbed the ugly toad in the neck. Huakai injected a large amount of national fortune into the long spear, and there was a violent explosion. After the sound, Huakai retreated quickly. 95%. Chapter 542. Huakai felt that Cao Shayi was damaged, and in order to escape the entanglement of ugly toad, he used all his strength to attack the opponent. This full blow also made the opponent seriously injured. Huakai saw the surrounding illusion disappear suddenly. He saw the scary night gun pierce the body of the ugly toad, leaving green blood on the opponent's body. Huakai did not dare to hesitate and turned around. Flee to the distance. After several breaths escaped from the swamp area, Huakai felt that the ugly toad had been out of the control of the scary night shot. So quickly being able to get rid of the scary night shot meant that the injury would not be too severe. Huakai summoned it back scary night spear. He ran towards the direction he came without looking back. At this time, the sky suddenly became dark, and snowflakes continued to fall from the sky. The vegetation and creatures on the ground were instantly frozen to death. Huakai felt a strong chill hit his whole body. Fortunately, he has a high-level ice antibody, and the power of will runs at his whole body speed. Undiminished, continue to flee towards the way they came. A sharp croak of frogs came from behind. Huakai looked back while running away. A phantom toad over a kilometer in size appeared behind him. The entire island became a frosty world. The toad was empty. The shadow jumped thousands of meters and struck Huakai. Huakai took out 5 Elements Mountain and injected half of his willpower and threw it behind him. A violent noise came from behind. Huakai felt that spiritual chi on the entire island seemed to be irritable, and he was exploded strongly behind him. Pushing the sound for several miles, 5 Elements Mountain returned to his sea of consciousness. Huakai stabilized his restless true chi, ran the gold core to replenish the loss, and continued to flee from the road. After flying for hundreds of miles, Huakai felt the energy behind him stabilize. Wukong was waiting for him in the distance with a delicate begonia flower in his hand. He saw himself walking over and handing the begonia flower to Huakai. It's not surprising. That ugly toad is obviously only cultivation mental energy and willpower. It can be so strong. Its venom is also powerful. If I don't pay attention to Cao Shayi, it will be corroded and damaged. Bing antibody, it's not that easy to escape today. Huakai said to Wukong. Wukong gestured to Huakai, saying that the ugly toad was not that strong. As long as it was a little stronger, it could defeat the opponent. Huakai clearly felt the strength of the opponent, but the ugly toad was more dangerous. There are too many dragons, and this one must be a great demon-level existence. When he came to the edge of the island, the ugly toad did not chase them. Huakai Cao Shayi was damaged and could not break the surrounding illusion. He followed the safe road he found when he came, but passed through 2 killing formations and 3 illusions. Left this island. Huakai returned to the stronghold. Everyone in the Hua family saw him surrounded. Huakai released the boat and jumped onto the 6th floor, and entered his room with the core members. Brother, how is it? Just now the weather suddenly became cold. I saw it started to snow in the west. A huge toad phantom collided with 5 Elements Mountain. You seem to be running away. Wamo looked at Huakai and said. That toad is very powerful. Mental energy is extremely powerful without self-cultivation. The power of will has reached more than 8 levels. Even so, it is difficult to break its defenses with my scary night shot. There are many ancient relics on that island, and there should be a lot of things among them. There are many spirit treasures in the marsh where the toad stays. Among them, there are at least 2 spirit treasures of the 3rd rank. Maybe we can think of ways. Huakai frowned and said. The 3rd rank spirit treasure is the most important for any country. If China can obtain these 2 3rd rank spirit treasures, it will soon be able to give birth to 2 gold core level masters, so that China will have the strength to eliminate the world. Demonic beasts, dominating the world has become simple. To deal with that kind of existence, no one of us can help except you. I don't think we should be anxious. We will consider the fairy island when we have the strength in the future. Now I have achieved very good results. It is better to be able to go home safely. Everything is important. Hua Zichen looked at Huakai and said. Huakai nodded. This ugly toad is highly poisonous, and cannot have a large amount of big monster meat like the flood dragon. If the opponent does not leave the marshland, if Huakai fights with the opponent there will damage those wills. Ling Bao, the most important thing is that he is not yet that ugly toad's opponent. In the evening, Huakai put down the Ling Bao that was being repaired. He had to repair own Cao Shayi. The Lingbao can be repaired with the power of gold core. Hua Kai has been repairing Wukong for more than 2 months to get back the less severely damaged Lingbao. Lingbao, 2 low-level Lingbao and 1 intermediate Lingbao have been restored, one of which is still a Lingbao with space, which is very important to the Hua family. On the second day, Hua Kai didn't collect the treasure ship. He carefully repaired the Cao Shayi in the treasure ship, because the damage of Cao Shayi was very small, and he could repair it in 3 days at most. This was because Cao Shayi was the best product. The reason for the Lingbao, if it is a low-level Lingbao, he can repair it in a few minutes. On August 3rd, Hua Kai finally completed the restoration of Cao Shayi. He left the 6th floor of the ship building and saw that there were few people on the ship. Exchange points. Seeing that Hua Kai's heart could not help but move, the human race was able to come to such a point. This is the result of countless ancestors fighting against wild beasts. It is precisely because of this kind of fighting heart that the human race can continue to be strong, and this is also human race can become the most important quality of the protagonist of heaven and earth. His previously entangled 3 kingdoms suddenly became more real at this time. When he wrote about the 3 kingdoms before, he single-mindedly shaped stories and characters, but he found that compared with Journey to the West, his 3 kingdoms lacked one kind, soul. If Journey to the West describes the word enlightenment, all the protagonists in the article have only one purpose, which is to comprehend the heaven and earth, to comprehend the Tao, and all immortals, gods, Buddhas, and demons have the same word, enlightenment. Then the story of the 3 kingdoms is a struggle. From the beginning to the end, this is a process of struggle. Many stories use the thoughts of the philosophers and 100 schools of thought, and they are only his weapons of contention. When everything disperses, only the victor is left. The voice of this book has always been to lighten all kinds of thoughts. It concludes that the most important things to maintain peace in the world are benevolence, loyalty, and righteousness. The meaning and value of this book are not worse than any school. A scripture is entirely possible. Thinking of this, Hua Kai returned to his room. He entered the world of his 3 Kingdoms novel, read all the stories from beginning to end, then sorted out the main line again, and began to make another revision to the novel. 3 days later, a virtual projection over the ship appeared in the sky. Everyone in China was delighted to see this scene. They were so unaware of this scene. When Hua Kai was writing Journey to the West, every time there was a vision in the sky, look at the sky. Picture and shadow. Many people recognize that it is a scene in 3 Kingdoms. Hua Kai was immersed in the world of 3 Kingdoms. He enriched a lot of story plots and made the mission character more profound. When the last 10 chapters, he wrote very smoothly, and soon all the story fragments were portrayed in the virtual space, and then he came out of the virtual space. Writing the last 10 chapters stroke by stroke on the original, Hua Kai certainly knew that 3 Kingdoms had become a holy book. His last stroke fell on the original text of 3 Kingdoms, and Hua Kai's soul entered a new world. Hua Kai is familiar with this scene. In the 3 Kingdoms sanctification, he can choose a spiritual treasure to turn the virtual into reality, and the world of the 3 Kingdoms must be recognized as a special world by heavenly Tao. His mental energy quickly walked through the story of the 3 Kingdoms from beginning to end. A special mark was left on an ordinary yellow turban. Hua Kai did not expect that he did not deliberately choose Lingbao. In the end, the world of 3 Kingdoms chose this one thing. Hua Kai also knew the 2 magical powers given to him by 3 Kingdoms. The first one is that mental energy attaches to the heroes of the 3 Kingdoms, feeling their lives in battle and struggle. Among them, the strongest 3 immortals and 8 gods belong to the foundation building realm. They are mythical characters in 3 Kingdoms. They have also been given a wonderful life by Hua Kai, to realize that they must have the strength above the foundation building level in their lifetime. 3 Kingdoms, Super Class 9 people are all Shantian late stage cultivation base, first rate 13 people are Shantian early stage or middle stage, and second rate 41 people are all of cultivation base. Corresponding generals must have a stronger strength than him in order to experience their lives. This experience cannot increase a person's cultivation base or realm, but it can increase his aptitude and comprehension. And 4 super class advisors, 9 first class advisors, and 12 second rate advisors have the same ranks as military generals, and experienced advisors and military generals have different feelings. There are also 452 third rate and lower ranking characters, including emperors, poor people, family members, etc. These heroes are able to enter the experience. This 3 Kingdoms world turned out to be a world of increased aptitude, which is very surprising. The time of each experience can be determined at will. It can let a person experience the Three Kingdoms world in person once an hour, and it can also last for 60 years. The longer you experience it, the better it will be, and it can reach the same level as a completely real experience. The second magical power is the yellow turban. Huakai can use the power of the Three Kingdoms world to condense yellow turban. This yellow turban can increase a person's willpower by 3 points. This is not a small ascension, with 3 points of willpower. It can make a person's combat power more than 30%, but the power of the yellow turban will gradually fade when used, and a yellow turban will disappear after 72 hours of use, but this effect is already very heaven-defying. After Three Kingdoms became a holy book, the magical powers given to Huakai are no worse than Journey to the West. Therefore, Three Kingdoms became the holy book of heavenly Tao. There is no gold core in the world of Three Kingdoms. If Huakai wants to fight the enemy with the world of Three Kingdoms, he must blue the whole world. 95%. Chapter 543. Three Kingdoms was promoted to a holy scripture. Huakai gained a lot. Huakai looked at the own attribute. There was no breakthrough in the 3 attributes, but gold core was fuller. He could feel that he was close to the gold core realm of Dzogchen. In the afternoon, Huakai called everyone from the Hua family into the own room, took out 10 yellow scarves and gave them to the 10 core members of the Hua family, let them try this special equipment, and let 540 members of the Hua family enter together. 3 kingdoms in the world, Huakai set 10 hours for them. In the early morning of the next day, 540 members of the Chinese family came out of the world of 3 kingdoms. Among them, one of them had 2 small ranks from B+ level ascension to A level ascension, and 4 people had 1 small rank in ascension. This pair of strengths is rapidly ascension. It is of great significance to them of the period. Huakai found that the more senior military commander, strategist perspective, the greater the probability of the ascension tester's qualification, the closer the strength is to the military commander, strategic strength, the greater the probability of qualification ascension, and the perspective of each military commander can only be after watching it once. The own generals did not appear on the scene or died, and you can watch the story continue to develop from the perspective of heavenly Tao. In the afternoon, 10 people from the Hua family who experimented with the effect of the yellow turban came back. The result of their experiment was that the yellow turban was able to ascension more than 20%, which is very large, similar to the system introduced. Because the special effect blessing of the yellow turban can be turned on or off at will, a yellow turban can be used for a long time. As for the shelf life of the yellow turban, this can be studied slowly later. Knowing that the world of 3 kingdoms has 2 god-tier connections, Huakai gave 1 to each important person of the Hua family, while arranging 540 people to enter the world of 3 kingdoms for the second time. This time Huakai chose 3 days. While counting the gains of the trip to Fairy Island, Huakai started the journey of the members of China to enter the world of 3 kingdoms and understand the world of the 3 kingdoms. Every time I saw the people of Ascension, Huakai also slowly understood the laws of Ascension's qualifications in the world of 3 kingdoms. The probability of an 8-hour qualification ascension is 1%, the probability of a 24-hour qualification ascension is 2%, the probability of a 3-day qualification ascension is 3%, and the probability of a 7-day qualification ascension is less than 4%, because a person can only use it once. From the perspective of heroes, the longer the time, the more effective it will be for them. Huakai only tried for 7 days at the longest. He felt that 3 days at a time was the best time. Moreover, Huakai also discovered a rule. Some people have their favorite characters from the 3 kingdoms and have their own very deep understanding of the characters. The more likely he is to enter this heroic perspective of ascension qualifications. By August 18th, Huakai had opened the world of 3 kingdoms 5 times. Among them, there were 76 ascension qualifications. The highest ascension was an S-level qualification foundation building ascension to S+. That afternoon, King Yan finally returned with the masters of the Kingdom of Yan. When he left, there were more than 80 people, and only 50 were left when they returned, but all of them were still smiling, and they must have gained a lot. When China first came to the island, there were 5,862 people. Today, according to statistics, the number of people killed and missing has reached 1,429, and the death rate has reached a quarter. The gains from such casualties are huge. On August 21st, before the agreed time to go home, Huakai decided to go home as soon as possible. There were casualties every day while staying here, but the gain was very little, so staying for a few more days was meaningless. On the way back, Huakai already had experience, and the ship was driving fast on the sea. Huakai mental energy has been placed in the waters in front of the ship to avoid another attack like the previous one. In this treasure hunting journey, the average strength of all people in China has been more than 3 floors, especially the promotion of several new foundation buildings. Some people have the Lingbao combat power ascension, so even if they encounter demonic beasts several times on the way home, encirclement and suppression, everyone can quickly solve the demonic beasts, and soon they will enter the storm zone. With the addition of a gold core, the storm zone is much easier than before. With experience, everyone stays in their room and firmly grasps the handles in the room, and the ship safely exits the storm zone. Lu Chuan was not unfortunately struck by lightning. Seeing that everything was calm before him, everyone cheered happily. The road ahead is a relatively safe sea area. They will have time to go home after leaving the storm zone. They have to travel north from the southwest of the East China Sea all the way to the Beihai. There are more than 5,000 sea miles from Beihai to Yangguo. On the way home, everyone was very relaxed and happy. Some families with big gains have begun to contact some families with heavy losses, or seek alliances, or discuss mergers. Because some aristocratic families not only lost the strongest family members, but also owed a large sum of money to China. Only these families with points can help them. In the room on the 6th floor, Huakai realized the changes in the world of 3 kingdoms. In the past few days, Huakai discovered that as more and more people enter the world trial of 3 kingdoms, while the world of 3 kingdoms affects the testers, it also being affected by the trial. Some characters in 3 kingdoms automatically become more spiritual and emotional. As long as you have participated in the trial, you can always find many similarities to yourself when you see this hero. Huakai no longer needs help in navigating the boat. Huakai is considering the 2 books, The Red Mansion and Water Margin, these days. He always thought that these 2 books could be great masterpieces. Recently, he is writing 3 Kingdoms. As a supplement to 3 Kingdoms, it mainly introduces the historical stories of 450 heroes, as well as their life environment, so that people who enter the world trial of 3 Kingdoms can have a better understanding of his heroes. After writing 3 Kingdoms, Huakai saw Heavenly Dao responding unexpectedly. This 3 Kingdoms, as a supplement to 3 Kingdoms, turned out to be a masterpiece. Huakai tried to send 3 Kingdoms into the world of 3 Kingdoms. The power of the origin of the entire 3 Kingdoms world is more than 3 times stronger. All heroes' martial skills and mental methods have naturally been supplemented by Heavenly Dao. The power of the world origin of 3 Kingdoms suddenly surpassed the journey to the west. Huakai saw that there was also some enlightenment here. 3 Kingdoms and Journey to the West were both sacred scriptures and a very powerful part of the sacred scriptures. The world core of Journey to the West is enlightenment, and the world core of 3 Kingdoms is struggle, so the world core of Red Chamber should be love. The world core of Water Margin is righteousness, Red Chamber, and Water Margin, but the story and value are not inferior to the 2 great scriptures at all, but in order to ascension these 2 books to the height of the scriptures, what needs to be done by Huakai? The world background of these 2 novels is not in this world at all, so many things, especially human customs, are unfamiliar to many readers. He needs to let most of his favorite readers understand the world before going back to read The Red Chamber and Water Margin. These deeper values in them can be realized by readers. Huakai is a novelist. It is easy for him to write more novels. He can't favor the 4 masterpieces. Both Journey to the West and 3 Kingdoms can become holy scriptures. He must also make them the holy scriptures for the other 2. In the future, Huakai will focus on the stories with the Song Dynasty and Qing Dynasty as the background, and try to create novels related to the world of Water Margin and Red Mansion, so that everyone can understand and accept the meaning of the 2 novels. Just thinking about it, Huakai felt his second uncle Huang Guangwen come to his door. "Come in," Huakai said. Huang Guangwen opened the door and walked into Huakai's room with a smile on his face. Of course, Huakai knew why his second uncle was happy. This time, all the families in China might have gained the most from the Huang family. Second uncle, this time the treasure hunter Huang's harvest is great. No one in the entire Chinese country can have the Huang's luck. There is no danger in the 2 restrictions areas. 3 Lingbao level herbs are harvested at a time, and there is 1 spiritual treasure of will, Huakai said with a smile looking at his second uncle Huang Guangwen. Sir Wang, the Huang family has paid half of the income to the Hua family. Today, the Go family has found me. I hope the Huang family can help the Go family. I have discussed with the other members of the Huang family. Everyone agrees. Yeah, Huang Guangwen looked at Hua Kai hopefully. The Go's family is an ancient family in Qi. One failed to explore the restrictions area. The two foundation buildings lost one, and they owed the Hua family tens of millions of points. If they didn't want to pay off, the Millennium family might not exist, so like in this way, the harvest of the Huang family has become the object of their cooperation. The royal family will not interfere in your family's affairs. You can decide by yourself, but if the Huang family repays the points for the Go family, this time the Huang family points are almost over. Hua Kai said. We still have 16 Fotang Wasong trees, and 281 Bailing silkworms, and tens of thousands of silkworm eggs. The Huang family has been very satisfied with the harvest. Huang Guangwen said with a smile. The Huang family and the Go family have established a cooperative relationship. In fact, it is mainly a housekeeper. If the Go family wants to repay the more than 30 million points owed this time, it is estimated that it will take the entire Go family hundreds of years to repay. Half of the family business will inevitably be handed over to the Huang family. The aristocratic family's ability to exchange assets in this way is already considered the best in the long river of history. In the conversation between Huang Guangwen and Hua Kai, this is also an important moment for all Chinese families to communicate and establish good relationships. Some big families who have suffered heavy losses will combine with some small and medium families who have gained a lot, so that they can retain their family strength to a greater extent. At the same time, the small family can also convert the income of the owner into family strength more quickly. Everyone on the boat is watching Hua Kai's new 3 Kingdoms recently. They must understand all the heroes in it before they can choose all the hero perspectives they watch. Only when they enter the world of 3 Kingdoms can they have the greatest benefit. At the same time, everyone has begun to choose the medicine pill and weapons that they need. The Hua family has come up with a list of medicine pills, weapons, and armors that can be refined in the family space. It is marked with the points required for all the spirit armors, spirit soldiers, and spirit pills. These things can be met but not sought anywhere, and the Hua family usually only let the aristocratic family choose these when they make great contributions. 96%. Chapter 544. At the end of August in China, on the main hall of the Afang Palace of the state of Qin, Qin Zheng was sitting on the throne. Hearing the reports from the officials below, he had no expression on his face. Compared with last year, Qin Zheng had white hair on his head. A lot more. This made Qin State secretly pass on a sentence. Hua Kai said Qin Zheng has only 20 years at most. After a year, Qin Zheng will have less time, and Qin has strictly forbidden everyone to talk about this, but how does this stop people from all over the world? In the past 2 years, there have been more and more Chinese businessmen in Qin, even ordinary people. The people of the Qin state know that China is an emerging country stronger than Chu. Qin was defeated by China and interrupted the rhythm of Qin's dominance of the world. Compared with the people of the Qin state who respected Qin Zheng, Shui Chen, the dean of the state administration of China, Hua Mo, the lord of Shacheng City, Hua Zichen, the dean of the military academy, the Azure Dragon Corps, the first army in the world, etc., have all been well known by the people of the Qin state. There is a hunch in my heart that Qin is actually relying on Qin Zheng to become the world's largest country. Without Qin Zheng, China will surely become the world's hegemon. Have you ever heard from Xu Fu? Qin Zheng said in a deep voice, sitting in the upper position, looking at the hundreds of civil and military officials below. As the world's #1 powerhouse, even if Qin Zheng took the spirit pill, the effect was already very weak. If his injury is to be recovered, he must have the corresponding elixir to heal it. In recent years, Qin has been looking for traces of elixir and even immortals, but for so many years there has been no news. As a last resort, Qin Zheng sent the Taoist master pill refining to go overseas to search for immortals, hoping to find ancient immortals who might survive to the present on a certain fairy island. Xu Fu has been looking for visits to the fairy islands in the East China Sea and the North Sea in the past few years, but most of the fairy islands found only existed in spirit beasts or demonic beasts. Spirit pill, elixir pill has not been seen so far, Li Si said to Qin Zheng, standing at the top of the 100 officials. Recently, there has been a pill refining great master to Shenyang City. I heard that the pill refining courtyard is very lively recently, Qin Zheng said suddenly. Going back to the king, there was a visit by an island refining master, but at most he can only refine ordinary treasure pill, and the rate of pill formation is very low. However, there are many people who come to the Afang Palace to cheat. Pill Refining Institute has more than 3,000 swindlers who came to receive rewards and are still in prison. I don't know what to do with these people. The person in charge of the Pill Refining Institute came to Xinjiang and lowered his head and asked, "Come to the Afang Palace to cheat. What are you still keeping?" All are taken to the afternoon market and beheaded for public display. There are also those scholars who spread rumors in the state of Qin. If there are warnings that do not listen, they will all be driven out of the state of Qin by the widows. If they do not want to leave, they will be buried alive. Qin Zheng said. No one spoke in the Great Hall, and everyone listened to it quietly. The state of Qin destroyed all hundreds of books that opposed the policies of the state of Qin. Scholars were forbidden to discuss some discourses about opposition to the rule of the state of Qin. This has caused the number of scholars in the state of Qin to be greatly reduced in recent years. Many colleges and schools in many cities have been closed, only the children of the family. In order to learn knowledge in the school run by Qin state. My lord, the number of wild beasts in various counties and cities has increased sharply this year, and the pressure on Qin cities will inevitably increase this winter. Although Wang himself has killed more than 30 demonic beasts this year, many counties and cities in Qin have been deserted. The number will only increase. Because of the increase in military service time in various cities this year, the farmland in many places was deserted, and even many farmland in Guangdong area was also deserted. This year, Qin's grain pressure is even greater than last year. If it were not for the civilians to purchase grain from China, Qin would suffer a famine. Li Si waited for Qin Zheng to finish questioning, then talked about Qin's lack of food. Even though Qin Zheng has been killing demonic beasts and wild beasts throughout Qin this year, it is difficult to slow down the fact that there are more and more wild beasts. Now the roads between many cities in Qin are not safe, and everyone can foresee the pressure of Qin in the future will get bigger and bigger. The Guangdong area is the richest area in the world. It is no problem for the Guangdong area alone to feed 5 million people. Let the people of the Central Plains and Handan city of Zhao State migrate. All migrated to Guangdong, and our main goal for a long time to come is the wild beast. Another point is that I have heard that the number of military service in many cities is far from enough. Qin state requires that men over 15 and under 45 must perform military service. As a result, the number of urban servicemen of 200,000 people is less than 40,000. It seems that the number of old people is quite a lot. Qin is short of food, so many young people want to starve to death with so many old people. The widow thinks that the most important thing is that young people should not be starved to death. Ordered that Qin is not a member of the royal family, and the cultivation base is below the Kaiyuan realm. Those who are 60 years old and undead will be buried alive by the government. Quote. Qin Zheng said such a policy, and there was an uproar in the Great Hall. This was Qin Zheng's counterattack against the hundreds of officials who did not execute his orders. In the major cities of Qin state outside the Guangdong area, many young people in their early 20s were written as 46 years old when they recorded their household registration age. They escaped heavy military service and labor in this way. The officials and local families benefited from this. As a result, more and more people evaded military and military service, so that their cities would not have no one to farm, and food prices would skyrocket. In this way, those who have falsely reported their age, who have not made a breakthrough to the pneumatic realm when their household registration age reaches 60, are left to be buried alive. No one in the Great Hall dared to speak out against Qin Zheng's order. After a few minutes, seeing no one speak out again, Qin Zheng opened his mouth and prepared to retreat. It's almost September now. Before winter comes in mid-November, all people in the eastern, southern, and Handan city areas of the Central Plains must migrate to the Guangdong area. The cities in Guangdong must make every effort to eliminate the beasts in the area. Accountability. Do you have anything else? If not, retreat. Qin Zheng said that he was about to get up. Li Si seemed to be struggling. He saw this coming to Qin Zheng. Is there anything else, the Prime Minister? Qin Zheng asked as he looked at Li Si. My lord, this year there are more and more businessmen from China. They sent Qin goods to Qin, making the Qin market prosperous, but the treasury tax has not risen at all. China used paper money in exchange for a large amount of Qin materials. Now all major cities in Qin are using China's banknotes, and it will be very detrimental to Qin if this continues. Li Si said to Qin Zheng. Everyone in the Great Hall understands that China's banknotes have slowly affected the prosperity of Qin, but if the circulation of Chinese coins in Qin is to be prevented, then Qin will still suffer a strong loss, so everyone will keep a blind eye. Close one eye. The others will resign. The Prime Minister, the General, the Doctor, the Lieutenant, and the Lieutenant will stay. After Qin Zheng finished speaking, the others left one after another. They all know that the relationship with China is becoming more and more complicated nowadays. The relationship with China, Qin is becoming more and more passive nowadays. This paper currency is just the tip of the iceberg. Qin Zheng came to the own study. Li Si and more than a dozen of Qin officials came to the study. Qin Zheng asked the Blood Dragon Guard to guard the door to prevent anyone from approaching. He sat on the desk and looked at the important Qin officials ahead. My lord, China should have already sneaked spies into all parts of Qin. Nowadays, people praise China. In recent years, Qin's emerging business groups have been doing population trading, and a large number of Qin people followed those business groups. The Queen of China has gone and never returned. From the beginning of March this year to the present, the number of families and people who have left Qin has exceeded 200,000. Among them, Handan City, Zhengcheng and other places have suffered the most population losses. Li Si looked at Qin Zheng and said, bowing his head. This must have the role of the country of China, because many of the people who left are poor people. They are not able to leave the country of Qin. The king, if this matter is not controlled, the entire country of Qin will be in chaos. Yu Shi the doctor said. Do we have the possibility of making Chinese coins as well? Qin Zheng looked at Li Si and said. My lord, this paper currency seems simple, but research requires countless attempts. Now we can only produce rough paper, and it is even difficult to write a book. It is completely impossible to make the exquisite paper currency of China. Li Si said. If we break the ties with China, Qin will become more and more difficult. Nowadays, more and more people raise sheep in Qin. Most of our food comes from the Chinese business group. Wei Wei looked at Qin Zheng as Qin. The important ministers of the country. How can they not know the changes in the country in the past few years? Other aristocratic families and officials can pretend not to know for their own family. They are the important ministers of the Qin state. These things cannot be avoided. Can you find out who the secret agents in China are? We won in one fell swoop. Qin Zheng asked, looking at the lieutenant. This minister has been paying attention since last year. China's spies are all over the Qin country. It is very likely that we have people from China in the court. Many aristocratic families have clearly leaned towards China. If this is to be caught, the entire Qin country will be turbulent. The lieutenant watched Qin Zheng return. Qin Zheng sat in the king's chair silently, and now he must make a choice. He can choose to be friendly with China, which will allow China to end its unfavorable actions against Qin, and also allow China to compensate a large amount of things. While solving the current food crisis in Qin, he can obtain some technology from China. If this is the case, Qin basically recognizes the status of China, and there will be more forms of confrontation between the two countries in the future. If Qin wants to dominate the world, there is only one way left, which is to kill Huakai or make him serve. Because relying on cultural, economic and other means, Qin is obviously not an opponent of China. Seeing Qin Zheng not speaking, the important officials of the state of Qin know that Qin Zheng is making a decision. If Qin Zheng chooses to dispose of all the families who have taken refuge in China and the Chinese chess pieces that have surfaced, it is to refuse China to cut off relations with them. In this way, Qin also has to bear great losses and hardships. Your Majesty, China has become fully influential. Eastern China, including Chu, Lu, Yan, Zhongnu, and Yu, including those non-sovereign dependent countries, have established relations with China. If we to interrupt China's use of money and culture to unify the world, we must make a decision as soon as possible. Li Si said at this time. 96%. Chapter 545 Qin's Choice. On the 10th day of September, the blind date held by the state of China in Weisung City is underway. The Queen of China, Yurantuya, came to the scene to be a matchmaker for the royal court ladies. After a year of construction in the three major districts of Weisung, the population has been growing. Because of China's economic strength, education has become the most important thing for every family. In order to allow children to go to the best schools, many families I was able to have the best life environment since I was a child, and I bought houses in Weisung New District. Weisung has strict requirements for the settlement of people over 12 years old. A certain age has no corresponding strength unless it spends a lot of money to move in. This is the most yearning place in the hearts of the entire Chinese family. According to statistics from the State Council, in September this year, China's Eastern District had a population of 280,000, the Southern District had a population of 70,000, the Western District had a population of 130,000, the Northern District had a population of 220,000, and the Mountain had a population of 430,000. The total population has exceeded 1.12 million, surpassing the summer. The city became the largest city in China. If the qualifications and consumption levels of Huacheng's personnel are calculated, the prosperity of Huacheng can be more than 3 times that of Shacheng and more than 10 times that of Jialiucheng, and the Shenyang city of Qin State is not much different from today's Jialiu city. The two cities are simply incomparable. Huakai rode Luma back to Weiseng. Many people did not react much after seeing it, because Huakai often saw Huakai riding through the air in Weiseng. Many people have become accustomed to this. What they didn't expect was that Huakai had already left China for half a year, and this was the first appearance. Back at the palace, Huakai first visited his mother, and then went to visit his grandmother. Grandpa and other important members of the royal family were both core members of the Hua family, and had long known that Huakai had returned from the East China Sea. Not long after Huakai came back from her grandmother, Yurantuya came back. When she saw Huakai, her face was full of worry. When there were a lot of people, she had to maintain an absolutely confident look. Seeing Huakai finally return to her holding Huakai's waist for a long time, he didn't want to let go. "I've already returned, don't worry." Huakai stroked Warentuya's hair and said, "China is different from Yan and Zhao. As long as we stabilize the momentum of domestic development, everything will naturally get better and better. You don't have to risk going overseas like this. If you can't come back this time, everything in China will become someone else's marriage." "Yi," Warentuya said while looking at Huakai. Huakai spent one day abroad. Yurantuya was worried that everything could happen on the island full of endless dangers. Xinjiang had reached that level and he was unwilling to go out to sea personally, which shows that there are dangers overseas. How big? It won't happen in the future. I dare to go abroad with absolute certainty. This time we have gained enough power to make China surpass Qin, and I have also found the direction to achieve the gold core level. I can be promoted to gold in 3 years at most. When the core realm is complete, the Hua family will establish their own dynasty. Huakai said while looking at Yurantuya. Really? That's really great. China is now stable. You will try to minimize the involvement of national affairs in the future. There are so many core family members. Now there is nothing that can be difficult for them. You will concentrate on cultivation. One day you will successfully transforming spirits. This is more important than anything else for China. Yurantuya said with a smile. Huakai nodded. Although the growth rate of China's national gas transport value has slowed, China is still in a period of rapid development. This time, Shandao's harvest is enough for China to continue to revolve around Huahia for decades, and the entire country of China still maintains unity and development. He does not need to pay too much attention to domestic affairs, and try to allow young people from China to participate in national affairs as much as possible. This is the most important thing for the entire country. The two were talking, and Huakai felt that Huafu was walking towards his study quickly. As soon as he separated from Yurantuya, Huafu walked in anxiously. "My lord, it's not good. Qin State has taken action against us. Shui Chen, please hurry into the family space." Huafu said to Huakai. Huakai and Yurantuya entered the family space together, and saw that many people were already discussing here, and they all watched when they saw Huakai and Yurantuya coming. Huakai and Warentuya sat down, everyone calmed down and looked at Shui Chen. "What's the matter? Tell me carefully." Huakai looked at Shui Chen and said, "My lord, the Qin State suddenly besieged our people who were lurking in the territory of Qin State yesterday. Many aristocratic families who secretly took refuge in us were also wiped out in one day. Qin State destroyed 135 aristocratic families in one day yesterday, and it has a relationship with us. Almost all good families are destroyed. The entire major cities of Qin State are full of blood. It is estimated that the number of deaths exceeds 60,000. The territory of Qin State is constantly searching for undercover agents and spies from China. Our people have suffered heavy losses," Shui Chen said. The intelligence department of China was originally in charge of Hua Zichen, because Hua Zichen and Huakai went to Shandao together. For the time being, Shui Chen was in charge of intelligence matters. "How about our loss?" Huakai frowned. At this time, Xinjiang still refused to sit down and talk. This was because he already regarded China as a major enemy, so the two countries would not have any chance of reconciliation. The two countries must have one country destroyed before the contradiction between the two sides can be completely resolved. The details are not yet known, but according to the information sent, about 30% of the people have been discovered by Qin State, some people have been found hiding in time, and some people have been killed by the Qin State Foundation building. Many people have been suspected, Shui Chen said. If your identity is revealed, you should promptly find a way to contact Bank of China to return to your country, so that all hidden personnel will stop all actions in the future to protect themselves as the first priority. Hua Kai said. As he was talking, Hua Zichen appeared in the chamber, and Hua Kai looked at Hua Zichen's face and knew that there was bad news. My lord, the intelligence of Qin State just now heard that China's banks in Qin's major districts have all been blocked. All the staff of Bank of China have been killed by Qin Bing, all bank gold has been snatched by Qin, and Qin has already announcing that Chinese currency can no longer be used in the country. At the same time, the state of Qin has given up more than 10 cities in the northeast and southeast regions, and even Handan City will be abandoned by them. All our goods in the markets of Qin have been confiscated. Qin sent a large army to guard the relevant cards in the residence, and no one was allowed to leave Qin country area. Hua Zichen looked at Hua Kai and said anxiously. Hua Kai did not expect Qin's decision to be so thorough. This was to place China on a level of absolute antagonism, and to deny the people of Qin's contact with the outside world. Such a fierce medicine would affect the fundamentals of Qin, the king of Qin did so. The price paid by the state of Qin is much greater than that of the state of China. Haha, as expected of Qin Zheng, he made such a decisive move. I can't help but report this hatred for killing the people of China and robbing my country's gold and goods. This year the number of wild beasts in the Central Plains has greatly increased. It is really not suitable to start a big war. This time the revenge can be left to me. You can stay in China with peace of mind. If you encounter Qin Zheng's raid, you can hide in the family space as soon as possible. Since Qin Zheng treating us as enemies, then Qin should pay the price for own choice. Hua Kai said in a low voice. Everyone also saw that Hua Kai was really angry this time and killed the intelligence personnel of China. There was nothing to say. It was also Qin's choice to refuse Qin's use of Hua coins. But beheading all the personnel of Bank of China and plundering all the bank's gold and market goods, this is a bit too much. Hua Kai asked the students of OWN to find and tell them what happened to Qin. Everyone was very indignant and willing to follow the army of China to crusade against Qin. You are here because I want you to let everyone in the world know what Qin has done as quickly as possible. This time 3 kingdoms became a sacred scripture. I gained 3 kingdoms 2 magical powers. With 3 kingdoms, I could use 2 god tier passes. Can ascension a person's aptitude? This effect is stronger than Journey to the West World effect. In the future, you will mainly be responsible for everyone's entry into the 3 kingdoms world trial. Hua Kai said, handing over the original 3 kingdoms to Ma Changwang. After returning from the East China Sea treasures, the core members of the Hua family will naturally arrange all the distribution work. Hua Kai does not have to worry about it. He let everyone do business as usual, while letting people bring a message to the head of China's intelligence in other countries. Everyone must be more careful about hiding. Riding on Luma, Hua Kai quickly went to Zhongshan County, and then went all the way to the west. Hua Kai arrived at the border of Qin State in less than a day. The border of Qin State is now full of huge beasts, and all the cities have been fighting. Occupied by the desolate beast, so ignore it, the future will be unimaginable. In order to conceal his whereabouts, Hua Kai let Lu Ma fly to thousands of meters high above the clouds, and used sweeping Sha Yi to hide his breath all the way to the sky over Shenyang City, and he let Lu Ma fly to Qinling in the south of Shenyang City. Near the mountains, this landed and quietly approached Shenyang City. Entering Shenyang City, Hua Kai saw fallen Qin Guo Rui soldiers everywhere on the street. Many people were scared to go out. Hua Kai found himself a false identity and planned to stay in Shenyang City temporarily. Since he has come to leave wonderful memories for Qin Zheng. Through the line of sight in Shenyang City, Hua Kai found out Qin's grain depot and treasure house, and began to prepare for the next thing. He had only a small relationship in Shenyang City through China, and a lot of money was thrown down, and all the information of Qin was quickly sent to him. Time soon entered September 29th. After 17 days of preparation, Hua Kai finally completed everything. On this day, Hua Kai disguised himself as a Shantian pill refining master and came to the Afang Palace. Qin has paid more and more attention to the pill refining practitioners in recent years. The palace has a special pill refining courtyard which is very close to the palace where King Qin is located. Huakai soon entered the pill refining yard unconsciously. 96%. Chapter 546. On the evening of September 19th, Huakai was used as an ordinary pill refining division to refine medicine pill in his alchemy room. 2 beautiful palace maids served him. There were multiple palace guards guarding him outside the alchemy room. Since Qin Zheng ordered the killing of more than 3,000 liars who pretended to be pill refining teachers a few days ago, fewer and fewer people came to the Qin Palace for pill refining, and the pill refining courtyard seemed a little quieter. Huakai asked everyone to go out because of his own pill refining. He sent all the elixir from the palace of Qin to the family space. If he can't refining a medicine pill by himself tomorrow morning, the guards outside the door will be inevitable. He would be caught outside of Shenyang City as before, and he would be buried alive in front of the people of Qin. In the past few days in Shenyang City, Huakai has basically understood everything about the state of Qin. The accumulation of contradictions in the state of Qin is about to reach a limit, especially this time the beheading of the staff of Bank of China and preventing everyone from leaving the state of Qin. This is a direct cut. Many families have secretly made preparations for the development of all aristocratic families. Everyone is discussing when Qin Zheng can die, so that the people can have a way to survive. The state of Qin did not give many families a lot of rights. This is the same as the policy of China, but China gave all families and people many development paths for them to choose. As long as they work hard, they will have a way out in the future. However, Qin is not the same as China. The Qin family is the master of the Qin family. The aristocratic family is the whip in the hands of the master. The common people are no different from slaves alive, even though Qin is the first country in the Central Plains to eliminate slaves. Mental energy communicated with Wukong, and Wukong appeared in front of Huakai. Today's main goal is to seek justice for everyone killed by Bank of China. This requires Wukong's cooperation. You stay here first, and you will directly summon the body of the gods and demons later, and try to destroy the Qin Palace building. If you lose to Qin Zheng and hide in the family space as soon as possible, although Qin Zheng is injured, if he takes action against you regardless of the injury, you will be it's difficult to deal with. Huakai said. Wukong nodded to indicate that it was already the 9th level strength of the Gold Core realm. As a sacred beast, it was no longer inferior to some big monsters. With his spirituality and fairy tools, it was not easy for Qin Zheng to deal with him. Huakai came to the door, and he released a huge force of will. The guards outside the door suddenly became sluggish. Huakai revolved Cao Shayi. His figure disappeared in an instant. He opened the door of the room and left the palace like this, and no one noticed anything abnormal on the road. When he came to the granary of the Qin Palace, Huakai's strength of will stunned the guards guarding him, and he pulled the door of the granary with one hand, so he came into the granary of the Qin Palace. This is the largest granary in the Qin state. There are nearly 1 million stones in the grain. Huakai took out the Baoguang glass bottle and sprayed a stream of kerosene at all the grain in the warehouse. At this time, he had the will to communicate with Wukong and perform Here We Go. Qin Zheng was reviewing the documents of the past few days in the study. Now all officials of the Qin state have abandoned the heavy bamboo slips and used paper made by Qin itself. In the past few days, the opposition from all parts of the Qin state has grown louder, and these Qin politicians have long expected it. However, in the face of China's economic and cultural invasion, Qin has no strength to fight against it. Only by completely severing contact with China can Qin not let China use soft means to unify the entire world. Now it is in Qin Zheng's heart. China is more threatening than other countries in the world combined, but he does not believe that China's strength is already above Qin. Suddenly a strong sense of crisis rose from Qin Zheng's heart. He frowned as he was about to get up when he heard someone outside the great hall start to quarrel. A huge roar of beasts came. Qin Zheng heard a violent earthquake. He hurried out of the great hall. He saw a huge ape really leaning on its chest. It was nearly 30 meters tall, and it took one leg at a time. A palace stepped into powder, and none of the people in the palace escaped. Such a huge ape suddenly appeared in the Qin Palace. It must not be easy to see this figure. Wukong quickly destroyed the entire Qin Palace, and the entire palace building quickly collapsed. A Shantian guard stepped forward to stop it, and Wukong punched it into blood fog. How could Qin Zheng not know Wukong? The last time he played against Huakai in Yan Kingdom, if it hadn't been for Huakai's defeat, he had never thought that the other party would dare to go to Shenyang City to play wild. You can come here. Presumably Wakai is also in Shenyang City. If so, you don't have to leave today. Qin Zhengfei said quietly when he came to Wukong and looked at it. Wukong roared at Qin Zheng. As soon as he reached out, a huge Wujin long stick appeared in its hand. He threw it directly at Qin Zheng. Big Sha Dragon Sparrow appeared in Qin Zheng's hands. The two weapons collided with a violent sound. Qin Zheng was knocked into the ground. He was knocked a mile away and hit several palaces. At this time, Qin State, the foundation building, has just arrived. Wukong held the Hunyuan Wujin cudgel and launched a fierce attack on all the attackers. A Lingbao phantom from the foundation building enveloped Wukong, and Wukong hit the phantom with a stick. Lingbao Shu, the shadow, dissipated in an instant, and the foundation building realm spat out blood. Wukong was right and not forgiving. Hunyuan Wujin cudgel continued to attack. Several people from the foundation building of Qin Kingdom saw that the foundation building was in danger. They all came to help. Wukong hit a few people with all his strength. The injured were directly hammered to death, and the others were knocked into the air like kites. The foundation building is half like a chicken in front of Wukong. After Wukong flew a few people, he stopped paying attention to the guards of the palace in the distance, and began to destroy the building of the Qin Palace. The Qin Palace had begun to order everyone to leave the palace, if not actively attacking Wukong. Wukong rarely attacked other people actively. Qin Zheng looked at Wukong in front of him. He didn't expect that in just 2 years, the opponent was already so strong. If it were in his heyday, Qin Zheng was 60% sure that he could kill Wukong and 90% sure he could defeat his opponent. But now he can't use his full strength. In this case, Ji Yu has no choice. Come and fight. Qin Zheng stood firm from the ground. His eyes suddenly turned gray, and black-gray karma encircled his whole body. No matter how great the price he spends today, he will have to deal with it. Kill this huge monkey, otherwise the majesty of the Qin family will not exist, and Qin Zheng will lose the supreme majesty in the Qin state. Wukong saw Qin Zheng slowly rise into the air, and the killing of realm around his body had already started, and he was now in a semi-sane state. The blood-red blood dragon pond suspended above Qin Zheng's head, allowing him to maintain his final sanity. A figure suddenly flashed by. Qin Zheng had already come to Wukong, and Wukong's speed was not slow. Hunyuan Wujin cudgel shong Qin Zheng after the attack. After a violent impact, Qin Zheng continued to attack Wukong desperately, and Wukong took the advantage for a while. At this time, a burst of fire rose in the warehouse of the palace, and Huakai used power of will to quickly ignite the entire warehouse, and then quickly left and headed to the next warehouse. After more than 10 minutes, 4 warehouses caught fire in a row, and they were all fires that were difficult to extinguish. The people of Qin State knew that this was a master attacking Qin State and was burning their grain and grass. Qin State officials quickly sent soldiers to stop and deal with it. The elite attackers are best dealt with by ordinary soldiers. The battle over the palace of Qin continued. Qin Zheng was full of gray hair and desperately fought with Wukong. Many times he exchanged injuries with Wukong. He could no longer see the fire rising everywhere in Shenyang City. There was only one thought in his heart, that just kill Wukong. Wukong felt that his energy in his body was rapidly weakening, and the battle with Qin Zheng made him consume a lot, and his injuries were also very serious. Big Sha Dragon Sparrow has special effects that ignore defenses, and Wukong has already carried hundreds of attacks against Qin Zheng. If it weren't for his special restoration of supernatural powers, he would have been unable to hold it long ago. Wakai saw Wukong in the distance and was almost unable to hold it. Qin Zheng, as a military strategist, sage, opened the killing enchantment, and his attack power was extremely powerful, and his defense power in this enchantment was also greatly increased. Not his opponent. By now, Wukong is already relying on his luck to increase his attack power and struggling to support it. Of the 10 major warehouses in Shenyang City, Huakai has already set fire to 6, and now the other 4 warehouses are already guarded by heavy soldiers. If Huakai wants to ignite these warehouses, he must kill a large number of ordinary soldiers and obtain a lot of karma. He gave Wukong 1. The signal of retreat came to a place with another warehouse. Cao Shayi can ensure that he will not be seen by everyone. Wakai ignited this warehouse without daring to splash fire oil, and used the power of will to make this warehouse burn quickly, and Wakai quickly walked to the next warehouse. Wukong received the signal from Wakai to retreat quickly, and he swung Hunyuan Wujin stick with all his strength to knock Qin Zheng into the air for a kilometer, then turned his head and began to flee outside the palace. Qin Zheng saw how it was possible for Wukong to leave like this. He quickly chased Wukong in the direction of escape. he had already marked Wukong. It was not so easy for the other party to want to escape. Wukong felt the dark will surrounding his body, and Qin Zheng kept locked on himself, otherwise it had a chance to escape into the family space, but he was not in a hurry. Before this action, Wukong and Hua Kai also made detailed arrangements. After Wukong got out of the palace, he quickly became smaller and relieved of the body of the gods and demons. He turned into a monkey about 1.5 meters tall. He quickly entered the city outside the palace and drilled through the countless crowds. Qin Zheng came to the sky above Fang City and saw Wukong in the crowd. He knew that if he wanted to attack Wukong, he would inevitably injure many ordinary people. His karma has reached the limit of his body. This time he used his full strength to hit the lifespan. There is not much left. If the civilians are killed again, his own karma may instantly explode his body and soul in this city. Qin Zheng's last trace of reason made him give up chasing. Wukong saw that Qin Zheng hadn't come down. His willpower slowly got rid of the shackles of Qin Zheng's willpower, and then his figure quickly disappeared in the market. Hua Kai quickly set the remaining 4 granaries on fire. The last 4 granaries were guarded by too many soldiers and there was no reason to pour the kerosene. Hua Kai looked like a fire but could actually be rescued, while the other 6 warehouses. It's almost impossible to save the food from the country. 96%. Chapter 547. Leaving Shenyang City, Hua Kai could still see the skyrocketing fire from outside Shenyang City. He felt that the karma in his body was getting deeper and deeper, and it had already affected his emotions. Some of the casualties caused by this fire, heavenly Tao, must be counted on Hua Kai. Hua Kai slowly felt that his body karma was running around, and he had to use the power of will to suppress it with all his strength. If it is an ordinary gold core state, creating so much karma today is as difficult as climbing the cultivation base in this life, but Hua Kai is not worried at all. China's state-owned method to eliminate karma is just a matter of time. Coming to a mountain range by the Qinling Mountains, Hua Kai killed a few brutal beasts and felt that not only did his karma in his body have not diminished, but he was still ascending. This showed that the fire in Shenyang City continued to cause damage, and Hua Kai took out one Salming flower. Take it directly into the mouth, take out wind fire futon and sit on it and slowly digest the medicinal properties of salming flower. One day later, Hua Kai saw the thick smoke over Shenyang City in the distance. His body karma finally began to decrease. After taking another soothing flower, the effect was much worse than last time. Wait until this soothing flower was absorbed. Hua Kai took out an elixir, which was an elixir that could heal the injuries of the gods, and it was the only elixir that Hua Kai had always carried with him. When the elixir entered his belly, Hua Kai felt that his own mental energy, willpower, and his body were all being repaired, and some of the influence of own karma was slowly being weakened. One day has passed. When Hua Kai opened his eyes again, the body's karma has been reduced to the point where it can be completely controlled. This is the magical effect of the elixir. If Qin Zheng takes this elixir, even if all his injuries cannot be repaired, it will be almost the same, and his lifespan will at least return to normal. It's a pity. Qin Zheng chose the road to not tolerate other voices. China has already given enough Qin's kindness, but Qin's answer to China is so. This time I return to Weisung City, I will never leave the state of Zhochen without being promoted to gold core. Qin's loss of food and grass will inevitably be greater this year, and there will be more and more people's grievances. It is not bad that the domestic situation can be stabilized in the next 5 years. China only needs to wait quietly, and it depends on whether Qin Zheng will choose to bow to himself in this situation. Quote. Hua Kai thought to himself that if Qin Zheng could bow his head to Hua Kai for the people of the world, recognize the status of China, and compensate for the loss of killing the staff of Bank of China, Hua Kai would not want the human race to be so militant. Hua Kai is not afraid of many. China is located in the northeast of the Central Plains, and the pressure on the small wild beasts in the control area is much less than that of Qin. Entering the family space, Hua Kai saw Wukong playing in the chamber. 2 days ago, it fought with Qin Zheng and was seriously injured. Unexpectedly, it was already alive today, and that 100 death pill was eaten by Wukong. Not exactly a mistake. My lord, are you okay? Shui Chen asked with a pale face when he saw Hua Kai enter the space, and he couldn't help but ask worriedly. It was all affected by karma. I was not injured, but Qin state news came out. Hua Kai looked at Shui Chen as I arrived. 2 days ago, Wukong was seriously injured and returned to the family space. The Hua family's luck value has been declining. The day before yesterday's family luck value decreased by more than 6 million. I have stopped using all family luck values, and today's family luck value has changed again. It was reduced by more than 2 million, and now there are only more than 7 million left. Shui Chen said to Hua Kai. We still don't know the Qin's loss, but according to the information we have received, at least 4 million of Qin's original 7.4 million stone grains were burned. This is more than 70% of Qin's grain storage. There will be more people hungry in the country. Shui Chen looked at Hua Kai and continued. Qin state has completely regarded China as an enemy. It is normal for the two countries to be hostile and we burn their grain and grass. It is to blame Qin Zheng himself for half of the responsibility. China is just a kind of revenge for them for killing the civilians of China. Hua Kai whispered. Chamber Hall everyone nodded. From the beginning of the founding of the People's Republic of China, China has pursued a policy of focusing on the human race and never actively attacking. Only in this way can all classes be integrated to form a powerful China. However, China is not blindly beaten passively. Your Majesty, Qin will have a serious shortage of food this year. Maybe many people in Qin will run out of food if winter does not end. If Qin sends people to our country to buy food, what should we do? A core member of the Chinese family C's asked Hua Kai. From today onwards, China will not sell a grain of grain to Qin. We must also scrutinize the purchase of grain from other countries. If anyone is involved in Qin, we will not establish a cooperative relationship with them. At this point, China the country has reached the time to have to fight. Hua Kai said. China's annual grain output exceeds 40 million shi, and grain prices are already much cheaper than the lowest grain prices in Central Plains. Countries in Central Plains have grain trade relations with China. In this way, we must increase the purchase of grain. Now, China has already stored a lot of grain. If we cut off enough grain trade with Qin, the grain trade with other countries will decrease. This will inevitably increase the price of grain in the Central Plains, but our food has become a burden. Shui Chen laughed bitterly. There are large-scale granary constructions in all major urban areas of China. The government's requirement for each large-scale granary is to ensure that the population in the region needs to spend at least 1 year on food. Many places store food for several years. Great effort. And Huakai stores tens of millions of shi and more than 400,000 shi in the Baoguang glazed glass bottle every year. So far, there are more than 70 million shi and 2 million shi in the Baoguang glazed glass bottle. These are enough for China to use for 4 years. There is still a month and a half before winter. I will go to each city to collect food again. In the future, according to the lowest price given by China, the government will continue to purchase. The population of China has been growing, and the consumption of food is also increasing. But the number of farmland has not changed much in the past few years. Everything in the future is unknown. We have Baoguang glass bottles, so it's better to store more food. Hua Kai said. Everyone can guess what Huakai said again, but this year China's income has skyrocketed, and the amount of grain purchased will not affect the country's development, because the Central Plains has been harvesting for many years, and everyone's concept of grain has become smaller and smaller. Anyway, China has never been short of food. Coming out of the family space, Huakai saw that the smoke in the city of Shenyang had disappeared in the distance. He bypassed the city of Shenyang and returned to the east. Strength situation. As a gold core state, he had to pass various levels. Huakai was not in a hurry. He passed through major cities or urban ruins already occupied by wild beasts. He saw that the number of wandering Sha in various countries began to increase, because more and more people do not want to be bound by the state. The Qin state, including Lu state, has increasingly loosened the management of the people. Everyone puts their minds on the elimination of the barren animal herd. This has caused the people at the bottom of society to form various loose gang alliances. Another form seeks the direction of survival in this world. Hua Kai remembered the martial arts classics in his previous life. If this world biosphere continues to fight, it will not be able to eliminate the huge barren animal herd, and its control over the people will become weaker and weaker. This world may indeed become a martial arts world. In October, news of the break between Qin and China spread to the entire Central Plains. Lu and Yan cut off all ties with Qin for the first time, but Chu remained silent. It seems that the state of Chu is looking for opportunities to grow its own between Qin and China, but what the Central Plains will face next is an increasingly large group of wild beasts. They must survive the battle against wild beasts in the future, otherwise all conspiracy and calculations will become meaningless. By the time Huakai returned to Huacheng, it was already in mid-November. It had already started to snow in many parts of China, and various urban areas had begun to organize elite soldiers to eliminate the desolate animal groups that appeared outside the city. The core members of the Hua family have discussed that in the 35 districts of China's 10 counties, at least one core member shall be arranged in each district to be responsible for the security and defense of this area. China is led by Hua Mo, Shui Chen, and Hua Zichen to form a 10-person foundation building team is stationed in the 3 areas with the largest number of wild beasts in Guangling County, Zhongshan County, and Jialiu County. If there is a danger of breaking the city in the various urban areas of China, the 3 teams are responsible for the removal of demonic beasts and the wild beasts. The 3 teams are unable to solve it, so Huakai can only appear. After returning to Shachang for a month, Huakai started his own martial arts novels based on the familiar martial arts story plots in his mind and the non-governmental organizations that he saw when he came back from the state of Qin. In order to create speed, he wrote more masterpieces. Huakai's novels are mostly based on characters in the aerodynamic realm. The Qi training realm is already a top-notch master, and the peerless masters are only in the Shantian realm. He writes a large number of martial skills into his novels, which can attract the eyes of the bottom of the society even more, because most ordinary people have ordinary aptitudes, and they can't comprehend advanced minds and martial skills. The mind and martial skills in these martial arts novels can be more easily understood, so that they can experience the world described by Huakai, and show the world backgrounds of Water Margin and Red Mansion from these martial arts novels, so that they will eventually be promoted to the saints. Code. Huakai put all his thoughts on the creation of martial arts novels, and occasionally went to Journey to the West to check the trial situation, because the plot of Journey to the West has come to an end, and Lian Po has not been eliminated until now. Everyone is guessing whether he can wait until the Journey to the West. The plot ends, and no one has persisted until the end of the plot in Journey to the West. 96%. Chapter 548. The points system established by Wahia allows all families in China to exchange for more advanced medicine pills, weapons and spirit treasures, as well as Chinese coins or gold coins. This makes the value of points higher and higher in China. Privately, the point transaction between families has become 1 point, 1 gold and 20 silver. It is easy to earn gold coins, but it is more difficult to earn points. In addition to special effects and special activities organized by the Chinese family, depending on the level of the family only has a certain share of points in exchange for each year. So if it is a big family, even if he doesn't use the points to exchange materials, he can exchange points and then trade with other families to earn a lot of profits. The points of the family in China are one of the main reasons for the rapid development of the family. Huakai also put the spirit treasure obtained this time in the points exchange area for everyone to redeem. The first rank will spirit treasure 1 million points, the second rank will spirit treasure 5 million points. Unexpectedly, only 2 months, half of the will the Lingbao was replaced, and the 200 million points in the Wahia points account soon left more than 70 million. A large number of elixirs, spirit soldiers, and Ling armors were replaced by the family. The strength of the Chinese family is growing rapidly. This winter, China has more wild beasts than in previous years, and the number of wild beasts and demonic beasts is also a lot more. From the beginning of winter to the beginning of the 8th year of China, Huakai has been busy pursuing demonic beasts outside the city because there are Shaoqiang in Huachang. There is no forest in the vicinity of the wild beast life within 600 miles, so Huakai always goes out with Wukong every time. It is basically difficult for all the junior demonic beasts to escape the attack of the 2 of them. Even if the junior demonic beasts reacted quickly and could blow themselves up, the power of the Gold Core realm could not pose a threat to them. Although China began to fight against the beasts attacking the city from the beginning of winter, no beasts invaded the city. King Yan still appears to be very low-key in the country of Yan, just as if he has not returned, and the lurking personnel of the country of China in Yan have never heard of the King of Yan returning to China. However, this year, Yan Nation defended the city, but there was no bad news. Various advanced medicine pills and weapons from China were sent to Yan Nation, and Yan Nation's overall strength was also in rapid ascension. This year, however, the state of Chu continued to report that cities were broken. The southern part of the Central Plains Yu State and nearby mountains are the places with the most barbarous beasts. As the number of wild beasts in the Central Plains soars, the pressure of Chu is ascending, despite their names. It has the most foundation-building realm kings, but the damage is the biggest one. By the middle of the first month, more than 6 cities in the Chu kingdom had been destroyed by wild beasts, and more than 300,000 soldiers had died. Among them, 4 people were in the foundation building. Hua Kai sat in the study room and finished writing the last word of this martial arts novel. A peculiar breath of will was skipped from the original novel, and a great book was born. This is already the second great book written by Hua Kai this year. As a rebirth with memories of past lives, with the magical powers of virtual space, it couldn't be easier to write a great book. Hua Kai thinks he has hundreds of masterpieces of his masterpiece are not a problem. The masterpieces written by Hua Kai are basically weapons, divine armament. A masterpiece of martial arts is a spiritual treasure for Hua Kai. Hua Kai originally handed his own novels to his apprentices, and they could have a spiritual treasure. Bow it. After leaving the study, Hua Kai intends to rest for a day to accompany his family and continue to create. The core members of the family space do not need to ask for help, so he can write his own novel with peace of mind. When I came to the harem of Hua Kai, I saw Yurantuya and Hua Kai's more than 20 princesses discussing the promotion of maids to women officials this year, as well as the issue of the reformation of small maids in the palace. They had to leave the palace if they could not. The concubine has seen the king. Warentuya and the concubines of Hua Kai saluted Hua Kai. Get up. The children are okay lately? Hua Kai asked. Everything is fine. This year, the concubine of Kaichun plans to open a kindergarten in the palace, so that children can learn early, and the teacher can let the female officials do it. Yurantuya said. You can figure it out. Our Hua family is different from other royal families. We don't pay too much attention to it. You don't have to worry about Chengmin now in the Yu clan. He has Qing Jirtai to protect him and he can enter the family space to escape in danger. Child, sooner or later, we will grow up and be independent. Hua Kai said to Yurantuya. Since learning that Hua Chengmin will not come back this winter, Yurantuya has been in a low mood. In recent years, Hua Kai has more than 30 children, but Yurantuya has not reborn after giving birth to Hua Chengmin. Hua Kai the other concubines were all eating the elixirs that were easy to get pregnant, but Warentuya had never taken it on Hua Chengmin before. Hua Kai came here to comfort Warentuya. Although Hua Kai has accepted more than a dozen princesses in recent years, Warentuya's status has not been shaken. The king doesn't need to worry. The concubine has never separated from Chengmin for many years. It's just a little uncomfortable to be separated for so long suddenly. Yurantuya replied with a smile. Hua Chengmin will enter the family space for at least 3 days to report safety to Warentuya. When winter comes and enters the rest, Warentuya relaxes and thinks that her son is normal. I chatted with many concubines. In fact, they can only get together in winter. Everyone is busy and manages the workshops, trade, and palaces of the Hua family. After chatting for a while, the other concubines retired. Hua Kai and Yurantuya came to Journey to the West. Today is the end of the story of Journey to the West. It has been more than 2 years since Lian Po entered the westward journey world. It has been more than 700 years since the westward journey world. In the last 12 years, the westward journey world could no longer enter the world. Now the whole West Journey World trial is left alone. At this time, the core members of the Hua family were all in the space above the sky above the 30th third stage of Journey to the West, watching the 4 people who traveled west and learned the scriptures. The spirit mountain was sealed, and various wills of heaven and earth hovered above the mountain. Many people in the Hua family sank mental energy into it. The consciousness sinks into the world of Journey to the West and feels the change and deduction of the power of will, and they benefit a lot one by one. After the 4 people were sealed, the whole story of Journey to the West was finally over. The family of Journey to the West suddenly all stood still, the original active willpower and spiritual chi suddenly stopped moving, and everyone also stood still. Lian Po's figure suddenly appeared in the sky on the 33rd stage. He forced his eyes to seem to have not recovered from the plot, and everyone in the Hua family waited quietly. In the last 12 years, Lian Po has been fighting everywhere. His strength has grown rapidly, and he finally broke through to the Demon Saint realm, becoming the man who opened the world 3 times and achieved the greatest achievement. Everyone stared at Lian Po, who closed his eyes and meditated. It took half an hour before Lian Po opened his eyes. Thanks to the king, Lian Po has gained a lot this time. Lian Po got up and gave the courtesy of the monarch and ministers to Hua Kai. It's fine if you have a harvest. I think the cyclone in your body is already born, and the condensing virtual pill should not be far away. I will digest the harvest of this trial and I will protect you personally. Hua Kai said. Thanks to the king, Lian Po was not hypocritical. Lian Po's figure disappeared in the journey to the west. Hua Kai was also out of space. He felt spiritual chi surging above Huacheng, and a large amount of willpower gathered here. A whirlpool had formed above the palace where Lien Po was, and countless energy entered the palace. In the courtyard, Hua Kai asked the guards outside the door to retreat. He entered the great hall of the palace and saw Lien Po sitting quietly on the futon. The virtual pill in his body had slowly formed. This time he tried the world of Journey to the West. He finally broke through the foundation building. Enter the realm of Gold Core. At this time, Huakai saw Zhao Dan flying over from a distance. After returning to China with Huakai, Zhao Dan went around China alone, and then when he returned to Huacheng, he bought it next to the central lake in the East District. A small courtyard stayed in Weisung City. The environment of Weisung is quiet and elegant, and the spiritual qi is sufficient. The people of life here are highly qualified, and most of their strengths are above the qi training level. Therefore, the consumption level in Weisung is very high. All the goods in the shops are very exquisite, and it is available at any time. Eat delicious spirit fruit, as well as dragon meat, sky blue whale meat, and earth dragon beast meat. Wang Zhao is here. Today Lien Po's trial is over and his promotion to the gold core level is really a happy event. Hua Kai looked at Zhao Dan and said, China can call me Zhao Dan. Lien Po's aptitude is above me. He left a lot of dark illnesses on Zhao Guo's body when he fought. It seems that Lien Po's injury has been healed by the King of China. Dan said that he knew that Lien Po's injury was not so cured, even if he had a large number of high-quality life pills and the elixir for his injuries, the erysipelas could kill Lien Po. Lien Po was able to be promoted to the gold core level, which is entirely due to Huakai. Lien Po's promotion to gold core is a great event for my human race. The Lien family will become the first-rank family in China, and China will have more first-rank families in the future. Hua Kai sees Zhao Dan said. It took only 20 years for the Hua family to become the largest family in the world. This can't help but make people feel that the concept of China is different from that of the Central Plains countries, but it is infinitely inclusive. Although Qin is strong, time is completely on the side of China. China can level the entire Dongling Mountains, which makes the northeastern part of the Central Plains the safest area. As long as the confrontation between China and Qin does not fail in 20 years, China will build a dynasty in the future. Zhao Dan said. As Zhao Dan said, the intention of taking refuge in China is already very obvious. Huakai checked that Zhao Dan's loyalty value has reached 64 points, but he is not in a hurry at all. It seems that your understanding of China is not comprehensive enough. In the future, you will have the opportunity to visit the 3 major hospitals, especially the military academy. Hua Kai looked at Zhao Dan and said with a smile. Zhao Dan did not understand the meaning of Hua Kai's words, but he nodded and agreed. He has carefully observed the Chinese family and the common people in the past few months. The people here are extremely satisfied with own life, but he has never thought about the 3 major hospitals. In Zhao Dan's opinion, the 3 major courts are nothing more than another kind of authority in China. Compared with other Chinese courts, they are nothing more than a change of skin. Hearing what Hua Kai said, he guessed that the 3 major courts of China must have a deeper level. Things need to be explored. 96%. Chapter 549. Lien Po was promoted to the gold core level, and Hua Kai asked his 5th uncle Hua Zichen to be discharged as the head of the hospital. As the deputy head of the hospital, he was responsible for the intelligence department. After taking office, Lien Po did his best. He began to learn about the structure and combat power of each army from the 7 legions to each barracks. Then, he began to understand the garrison troops of each city, and finally the militia training of China. Huakai has also been taking a lot of free time recently. Lien Po can handle the things that the 3 foundation building teams can't solve by himself. Huakai tries as little as possible to let the military academy solve the problems on its own. On the 8th day of February, Guangling County was besieged by thousands of wild beasts. Lien Po was unable to resolve the crisis. There were more than 30 demonic beasts in Guangling County. Huakai had to go with Wukong to support. Huakai and Wukong cooperated to kill more than 20 demonic beasts. They encountered multiple demonic beasts and did not blew back. This also made everyone realize the gap between the gold core realms. On the 30th of the first lunar month, the core members of the Hua family had a collective meeting, and Hua Kai also participated this time. Winter is the busiest time for the military academy. The entire meeting was organized around the Battle of the Desolate Animal Group. This year, many cities are under great pressure. The militias are on standby at any time, and the city is at risk of being destroyed at any time. It is the first time for Lien Po to speak as the dean of the military academy. He arranges all the elite forces in all regions of China according to the 3 levels of danger: high, medium, and low. He takes all the foundation building realms as the main emergency force, and the elite legions are placed in the most dangerous places. China's entire defense system instantly became clear. For the first time, all the core members of the Hua family felt the strength of the famous marshal. Simply speaking of the overall command of the military power, no one in China can do so. My lord, the strength of the 7 elite Chinese regiments is beyond my imagination. Even in the face of Qin and Chu, we have absolute advantages in military strength. Especially the 7 legions have a large number of reserve regiments. The number of elite legions exceeds 400,000, the average realm of soldiers is above the pneumatic level, the number of practitioners exceeds 60,000, and the number of Shantian reaches 4,000. For example, there are more and more wild beasts today, and the focus of all countries is on the wild beasts. There will be no major wars in the world for a long time in the future. I found a problem in our country, that is, there are too many cavalry. It's not as effective as shield soldiers and pikemen against wild animal cavalry. Our Azure Dragon Corps, Yushi Cavalry Corps, and Zhao Guojiang Cavalry are all elite cavalry regiments. It's close to 200 gold. You must know that this number can feed 100 sharp soldiers in Qin. In addition, the Vermilion Bird Corps and Qilin Corps also have more than 20,000 cavalry regiments, and the annual cavalry expenditure reaches about 2 million gold. Last year, the military academy used military expenditures totaling 36.5 million gold, which is more than 10 times that of the Qin state. When Lian Po said this, everyone knew what he wanted to do. My lord, I think it is enough for China to keep 2 elite cavalrymen. All other cavalry and reserve regiments are reduced to ordinary regiments. Cavalry training once or twice a year is enough. They can be used as cavalry in time when they mount up during war. Many people learn to fight with shields and swords, so that in winter our defensive pressure will be greatly reduced. The Azure Dragon Corps, Zhao Guojiangqi, and Yushi Cavalry were all reduced to 10,000. Other regiments cancelled the cavalry organization. This way, China can save 8 million gold each year, which can make the entire Chinese National Defense Army. Even the strength of the militia is a grade, and there is still a surplus. Lian Po looked at Hua Kai and said, Lian Shuai thinks that the cavalry will not be useful in the future. He wants to reduce the number of cavalry and expand the infantry, right? Hua Kai looked at Lian Po and asked. Yes, the minister thinks so. Although China's cavalry is strong, the annual cost is too huge. The soldiers' salary is more than 3 times higher than that of other countries. Abandoning Qin or Chu, these troops have dragged the country long ago. It's broken, Lian Po said truthfully. Many people underneath heard this and whispered to each other. They obviously disagree with Lian Po's words. In everyone's minds, soldiers are born and die in battle on the battlefield, and that high salaries are justified. Don't you know that the Government Council and the House of Representatives are not comparable at all? This is low. Lian Shuai, this king is a little puzzled. Why do you keep thinking about saving money? You think that the garrison is not equipped or expanded enough. Just ask the military academy to come up with a plan. Why do you want to reduce the number of cavalry? Hua Kai asked. Everyone they also looked at Lian Po with a puzzled expression. Shouldn't it be right for the army to reduce expenditure? As the dean of the military academy, I save money for the country and use it to the most reasonable place. If a country wants to be strong and prosperous for a long time, it must develop in an all-round way. Lian Po looked down. Everyone present suddenly felt that they were incompatible with everyone. Dean Lian, you may not know the situation in China, so I will probably tell you. The fiscal revenue of China last year was 89.76 million gold. Last year, the military academy budgeted 39 million gold, and finally used 36.5 million gold. The State Council budgeted 26 million gold, and finally used 27.2 million gold. The House of Commons budgeted 12 million, and finally used 6.83 million of funds, of which more than half was spent on social welfare. Up to now, there is 19.21 million gold in China that has no budget to use. In order to achieve fiscal balance, Wang Shang has adjusted the loan interest of Bank of China to the lowest. If Lian Shuai feels that the military academy's budget for this year is not enough, he will raise it. That's fine. As long as the use of the military academy's funds is open and transparent, I think Wang Shang will sign and agree to it. Shui Chen said for Lian Po at this time. So Lian Po didn't know how to say it. When he first became the dean of the Military Affairs Academy, He saw that financial audits in many places were relatively casual. As long as he remembered where the funds went, few people blocked it. Lian Po also specially educates those officials for this. It seems that he can't keep up with his pace. When he was a great general in the country of Zhao, it was extremely difficult to apply for every sum of money with the king of Zhao. The achievements are already very good. I don't want China to be so rich now. The military academy is dominated by Lian Shuai. If there is any problem, please mention that if Lian Shuai really feels that there is a problem with China's military allocation, the military academy will come up with an adaptation plan and we will discuss and decide together, but now all soldiers in China are paid. It has been determined that there is only the possibility of ascending but not descending, and all the equipment and weapons of the Wild City Armament Department can be customized. We are waiting for the military academy to get better and better under the leadership of Lian Shuai. Hua Kai said. Lian Po nodded and said that he understood that the annual military expenditure of 40 million gold could be increased if necessary. Lian Po wondered how to build up China's military strength and how to play a greater role in the defense of wild animals and national warfare. At the end of the conference, Hua Kai came to journey to the west and saw the start of the new journey to the west. More than 300 people have entered the journey to the west. Inspiring the Three Kingdoms world, Ma Changwang is organizing everyone to line up to enter the trial. Normally, the Three Kingdoms world is opened once every 3 days. In this small half year, more than 300 people have obtained the Ascension qualification. Increased rapidly. After that, Hua Kai enters the family space crystal column to view the attributes of China. Hua family. The first rank family. Prosperity. 2.98 million. Combat power. 3.52 million. Agriculture. 5.13 million. Animal husbandry. 4.98 million. Commercial. 7.21 million. Culture. 4.91 million. Comprehensive strength. 28.73 million. Allies. Huns, second rank, Lu, second rank, Yushi, second rank, Yan, first rank. Affiliated forces. Lian family, first rank, Shui family, second rank, Luo family, second rank, Ma family, third rank, Jia family, third rank. Hostile forces. Qin, first rank, Chu, first rank. Capital. 3,084 purple gold coins, 37,261 taels of gold, 32 taels of silver. Luck value. 16.7 million. Portable space. 36 cubic meters. 4 of the 12 main tasks were not completed. The first one was that Hua Kai reached the Gold Core realm great perfection and 3 Gold Core realms appeared in China. This is still a bit worse. The second is that the population of the territory has reached 10 million. Now the population of China is close to 9 million, which seems to be not much worse. The third is that the will of 1,000 people has reached S or more. Hua Kai sees the system shows that this number is now 467 people, but the world of Three Kingdoms can be Ascension qualified, and the number of S qualifications of China is rapidly Ascension. According to this progress, at most 3 to 5 years can be more than 1,000. Hua Kai still has more than 100 bottles of qualification pills. Pill refining room can also refine many Ascension qualifications, so Ascension qualification becomes simple. The fourth is that the qualification of the capital has reached level B. This Hua Kai has been paying attention to the fact that the absorption of the population requires strict cultivation base and qualifications. The population of Weisung has always been maintained at B. If you want ascension, it will be more troublesome. More people with high qualifications. Hua Kai has true eyes. These are trivial things. In this way, the most difficult task of the main task 12 is actually to promote to the gold core level Zochan. Hua Mo, Shui Chen, Wushu Hua Zichen, and Wuren Tuya are all foundation building level Zochan, and their qualifications are all SSS. Breakthrough only needs an opportunity. Leaving the family secret realm space, Hua Kai saw a female officer standing outside his study room. After asking, he knew that Chu Yuncheng was here. Although Chu Yuncheng is only in Shantian territory, his relationship with China is extraordinary. Without his Four Seas Chamber of Commerce, the Hua family would not be as prosperous and powerful as it is today, so Hua Kai has always been very good with Chu Yuncheng. Asking the female officer to pass Chu Yuncheng to his study, Hua Kai waited for more than 10 minutes and saw Chu Yuncheng appear outside the hall. Chairman Chu, come in. Hua Kai said. See King China. Chu Yuncheng saluted Hua Kai. The two of us don't need so much politeness. In this winter, President Chu is going to Huacheng, but there is something to do. Hua Kai looked at Chu Yuncheng and asked. Don't dare to lie to the king of China. I was entrusted by the king of Chu to come to Huacheng to see you. King Chu already knows everything about China and Qin, and he is very angry with Qin's actions. The state of Chu never stated that it would cut off all ties with the state of Qin because Chu state did not dare to provoke Qin state, and state of Chu would still stand on the side of China in the future. Quote. 97%. Chapter 550. If Huakai hadn't seen that the system had classified Qin as an enemy, Chu Yuncheng had really fooled him, saying that Chu was afraid of Qin, and he had not seen him take a step back when he occupied Qin's Hanjiang County. The state of Chu now has a very clear attitude, that is, to seek benefits from both Qin and China, which are both weak, because the form today is that China and Qin are slightly stronger than Chu, and the heart of Chu to dominate the world must be to make China and Qin fight both defeats, and finally come out to clean up the mess. Is Chu Yuncheng a strategist? Hua Kai suddenly asked after Chu Yuncheng finished speaking. Why does the king of China have such a question? Chu has never been involved in the scholarship of political strategists. Chu Yuncheng returned. The king of Chu shouldn't send you here. The politician can have a greater success rate in persuading this king. Your purpose today is more than these, right? What task has the king of Chu entrusted to you? Hua Kai asked. It's really hard to hide from the king of China. The king of Chu hopes to maintain friendly relations with China. The two sides continue to maintain trade relations. But this winter, many cities in Chu are broken, and many of the previous trade routes have been blocked by wild animals. King Chu wants in the beginning of the spring this year, all areas of Chu state's economy and trade will be suppressed, but Chu state's military strength is limited. I hope China will support it. Chu Yuncheng said. Hua Kai watched Chu Yuncheng not speaking, and Chu Yuncheng looked at Hua Kai and didn't know what was wrong. Nowadays, many cities in Chu country have been broken, and business routes have been blocked to ask China for help. This is in the interests of the two countries. Chairman Chu, if it weren't for you to come today, I might behead the king and give it to King Chu if you say this. You shouldn't be speaking about this matter today. King Chu has broken with China by saying this. He even dared to threaten the Chinese government to send troops to clear the barren beasts on the commercial road. Hua Kai said. This. What's the explanation for this? What offends China and invites Haihan? Chu Yuncheng couldn't help asking when seeing Hua Kai angry. The country of Chu ignores the struggle between Qin and China, so it has always remained neutral. So when China talks about trade again, this is because it feels that China is reluctant to bear the trade profits, and it also makes China clear away the beasts of trade roads. Chu feels must China follow him. China has completed the clearance of trade routes, and Chu received a large amount of goods from China and sent them to Qin. In the middle, they made a huge profit. Then Qin could not do without Chu attacking China with all its strength. If we can offend Chu and Qin together, Chu should have all the benefits as it should be, right? Hua Kai asked. King China, I didn't think so much. King Chu just asked me to bring you something, saying that you would agree to it. I knew it was so complicated, and I wouldn't say anything. Chu Yuncheng he hurriedly explained to Hua Kai that Hua Kai also knew that he did not harm the heart of the Hua family, and that the two of them had been in friendship for 2 decades and Chu Yuncheng had a deep affection for China. You are the president of the Four Seas Chamber of Commerce, and most of your thoughts are on trade. It is excusable if you are not aware of this. Go back and tell King Chu. Put away his careful thinking. If Chu wants to neutralize the king, let it be completely neutrality. In the future, China and Chu will cancel the trade agreement and will no longer reduce tariffs. In the future, the tariffs between Chu and China will be tripled. I will send elite troops to Lu to reduce border smuggling. It will be implemented on April 1st. Hua Kai said. Because of the trade agreement with Chu state, the trade tariff between the two countries is only 10%. In addition to the freight on the road, the price of China's products in Chu state has always been very cheap, more than twice that of Qin state. Now Huakai wants to increase tariffs 3 times on the basis of normal prices, which makes Chu's China commodity prices more than 10 times ascension, which is bound to be a blow to Qin's economy. Especially in the grain trade, the wheat of China's 158 bone coins per stone was previously shipped to Chu at about 200 bone coins, which is far lower than the Chu's average grain price of 240 bone coins per stone, and China has tripled its tariffs. After that, the price of food will be more than twice ascension, plus the freight and the loss of the beast attack on the trade road today, the cost may reach more than 600 bone coins, and this price has even exceeded the price of food in all areas of Qin. Chu Yuncheng felt unbelievable that the huge amount of grain in China would end up with heavy export losses. As a result of reducing trade cooperation with Chu, many workshops in China would have to suspend production, and the impact of the severance of diplomatic relations between the two countries was greater than expected. But then I thought about it again. More than 90% of the goods imported by Chu every year come from China, and China has trade relations with Yan, Lu, Zhongnu, Linhu, Yuxi and other regions, which has lost Chu's cooperation partners. The loss of China will not exceed 20% at most. For the first time, Chu Yuncheng felt the power disparity between Chu and China. After April 1st, the situation in Chu may be subject to major turbulence. Seeing Chu Yuncheng leaving Huakai thinking quietly, King Chu took a stinky step at this step. To be a fisherman, he must have the strength of a fisherman. How could China and Qin always be used to him? China's development plan for many years has now been filled with all shortcomings. In the future, all relations with Qin and Chu will be cut off. Everyone will eliminate their own wild beasts. When the elimination of wild beasts is completed, everyone will consider how to fight for hegemony based on their remaining strength. Go. In the future, the three major powers will develop independently. According to the population area, the three powers are almost balanced. However, according to the geographical location and domestic high wars, China has the largest number of high wars and the least pressure, followed by Qin. Chu state's pressure is the greatest. Entering the country of China in March, another busy year has begun. Last year, all the pavilions and post stations on the commercial road passed a winter, and they were ruined by wild animals. Begin to divide the area for all the legions, and began a year of eradication of the desolate beasts. The Dongling mountain range has already been transformed. This year, the core members of the Hua family have 4 tasks. The first one is the collection of all terrains in China. This year, all the terrains of all commercial road areas must be included in the mountain and river map, widen the width of the roads, and try to attract domestic beasts to the vicinity of the commercial roads, so that the elite army can also be cleaned up. It's easier. Since it is destined to cut off trade relations with Qin and Chu in the future, China must expand domestic demand to ensure that the economy is still developing steadily. The second is to transform the topography of the border area. All the borders of China, including Lu, will be transformed into mountains to reduce the entry of wild animals from the two countries into China. At the same time, all mountains and forests in China, Yan and Lu, are required. It is not an area that people can control near the commercial road. Large areas of mountains and forests are eradicated, and the wolves are called to these areas to prevent the expansion of the number of wild beasts. The third is the incubation of the bird eggs obtained from Shandao. Huakai has established an incubation base near the central lake in the east area of Huacheng for special incubation of these bird eggs. After hatching, various seabirds need to be screened many times. Each time a bird with insufficient spirituality is eliminated, only the spirit beast with sufficient spirituality is left. You can see whether you can sign a master-servant contract with people according to the situation. In this way, China will have a lot of low-level spirit beasts. The fourth is the reorganization of the army. As the elite standing army of China, other legions will no longer continue to guard a city. In the future, China will implement a 5-tier regiment management system. The first is that the 7 legions will mainly clean up domestic wild animals and protect the smooth flow of trade routes. Trade continues to flourish. The second is the gradual local army regiments of each county. The number ranges from 2 to 50,000. They are used to eliminate the wild beasts in the county, resist the wild beasts in the winter, and serve as the main battle group during the battle. This will also be the country of China and the 7th Army. The main army is the same as the legion, and its officers are dispatched from the current 7 legions, and the legionnaires are selected from the garrisons of the current cities. The third is the battle corps in the districts, which belong to the county battle corps under the county, and mainly clear and suppress the wild beasts in the urban area. They coordinate and cooperate with the county corps. It depends on the urban area. The fourth is the city garrison, which is mainly responsible for city security and patrol, and the driving force is one of the main city guard forces. The fifth is militia training. In the future, all adult men and women above the pneumatic level in China will have to undergo military training for 2 months. The training will be subsidized in Chinese currency according to the strength of everyone. Lian Po saw that China had sufficient funds. Huakai told him that the annual income of the Hua family without going through the treasury was much larger than that of the entire country of China. After learning about it, Lian Po spent a month to give Huakai a share of 78 million gold in China. After reading the plan for the reorganization of the National Army Corps, Huakai directly signed and expressed approval, and soon the plan will begin to be implemented. The fifth-level core organization in this plan, the Foundation Building Squad is a special squad is not included in the organization, the Undead Army is the Royal Guard is not under the jurisdiction of the Military Academy, and the 7 major corps are the first-level corps, totaling 150,000 people are the most elite army in China, consuming more than 20 million gold every year. The 10 new regiments in the 10 counties of the second-level legion have an army number of about 300,000. Their equipment is built in accordance with Tier 5 standards. This year, it will cost 18 million gold to build a new one. This includes camps, training, equipment, etc. Cost. After the completion of the 10 major legions, the annual maintenance cost is about 4 million gold. There are 63 third-level county-level corps with a number of about 560,000. Their combat power is much worse than that of the county-level corps. The soldiers are mainly in Kaiyuan realm, and their equipment is mainly Tier 3 and Tier 4 equipment. Construction requires 10,000 gold, it only needs 1.8 million gold to maintain it every year in the future. The strength of the 4th level garrison is mainly based on Kaiyuan and body tempering late stage, to maintain urban security. Their combat power cannot eliminate the wild beasts. The number of 63 city garrisons exceeds 1 million. They rotate on duty every year to patrol and guard the city in winter. The task is relatively easy. Military pay is only tens of silver a year, but this is enough for a family of 1 to 5 to maintain a basic livelihood. The military academy is to train all those who can fight in accordance with the regular army. The construction of this 1 million army requires 2,410. 10,000 gold is mainly used for military barracks built-in equipment, and it will be enough to maintain approximately 1 million gold per year in the future. 97%. Chapter 551. The 5th type of militia training is to give legion combat training to people from all walks of life, so that after the city is broken, they can continue to entangle with the beasts and wait for the arrival of reinforcements. There are about 4.7 million people in China who meet the conditions for militia training. Among them, close to 3 million women are the main combat force of the militia. The annual subsidy for militia training in China reaches 12 million gold. At the same time, the Military Academy and the Government Affairs Academy provide all colleges and schools with a minimum of 10 hours of military training classes per week for teenagers over the age of 12. For this reason, the Military Academy will send tens of thousands of professional veterans. The establishment of millennium military camps of various colleges and custom-made various equipments cost more than 6 million gold this year. China is already preparing for a full-scale war. War will become a social theme for a long time in the future. Unless the cities abandoned by humans can be retaken from the wild beasts, the human race will once again restore the prosperity of those cities. On March 30th, Hua Kai continued to participate in the discussion meeting of the core members of the family. Hua Mo took several elixirs for a month without stopping, and finally included all the topography of the borders of Lu, Chu and Qin in the mountain and river map with the help of Lian Po and Zhao Dan. Several mountains hundreds of meters high have been built in the border area. There are only a few checkpoints left on the border between Qin and Chu. As long as these checkpoints are guarded, it will be difficult for the opponent to enter Lu, and it is even more difficult for caravans to break through. No Qin state business group appeared, and there were very few Chu state business groups. The prosperity of China has declined slightly, but the people still live their lives after losing trade with Qin and Chu. The prices of cloth, silk, and tea in China have risen. These have not had a great impact on them, and the Council of Government has already started to repair these shortcomings in China. China is working hard to digest the gains of Shandao last year. Every month, Huakai can hear which family has the foundation building. The number of Shantian countries in China has entered a period of rapid growth. Every month, Huakai can see from the family space when the number of S-qualified members is growing, and Huakai is also trying every means to break through, completing the main task 12 and establishing the Chinese dynasty. Huakai will have the confidence to eliminate the beasts in the world. This difficult day will pass sooner and establish a unity, prosperous, and powerful new human world. On this day, Hua Kai completed another martial arts novel, but it was indeed not promoted to become a masterpiece. Hua Kai was not very worried. He already felt that Water Margin and Red Mansion were being respected by more and more people, and the two books were getting closer and closer to the Holy Scriptures. Zhao Dan returned from Zhongshan County. Zhongshan County is now connected to Jialiu County. The long western mountain range has risen. China broke the connection with Qin State from the Central Plains, leaving only a gorge to establish a checkpoint. The only passage in Qin State. Wang Zhao is back. Why are you looking for loneliness today? Hua Kai couldn't help but smile when he saw Zhao Dan. Although Zhao Dan does not belong to the country of China in name, he is already busy with the affairs of the country of China. Hua Kai rescued him from the island's restrictions this time. He has nowhere to go except for the country of China. He is now staying. China is his only way to go. I just returned from reforming the western border of Zhongshan County. Recently, I studied the system of China. If these systems of China were taken out alone, no one would think it would be idiotic. However, China is getting better and better on the road of owning. It is found that the main support for the prosperity of China is actually the Ministry of Parliament, and the key to its sustainability lies with you. Therefore, the core of China's system is actually very similar to Confucianism. The king gives power to the people, but the people here are not aristocratic families, but all ordinary people. China has always adhered to an open and inclusive mind. It is clear that the purpose of the country is to make people stronger. Everyone will continue to adhere to the leadership of the monarch. It is indeed not easy for people of different cultures and ideas to live in China. Zhao Dan said. There's more. Hua Kai looked at Zhao Dan and said with a smile. He is indeed a man who has been the monarch of a great country for hundreds of years. He looked at the problem from an accurate perspective and immediately saw the greatest advantage of China's system. There are also your workshops and inventions, the rapid advancement of Wahia's strength, and the ability of Wahia to refine medicine pill and divine armament. This is the main driving force for the rapid development of China. Of course, China's system has its shortcomings. Zhao Dan said deliberately. Oh, come and listen, Hua Kai said. This must be guaranteed by a well-known monarch, so that everything can be carried out smoothly. There is also the strength of the Chinese family and the ability of the country's management group. The three courts are too powerful. If someone uses their position to seek personal gain, it will bring the people of the world. If there is a sense of mistrust, the whole country will easily collapse. Zhao Dan said. Hua Kai took out 2 exquisite teacups and used the soothing flower to make a cup of tea for both of them with spiritual water. The 3 questions you mentioned are really important. How long do you think I can live? Hua Kai asked with a smile. You are only 34 years old this year. Gold Core Realm has a lifespan of 1,000 years, and you should have a great chance of entering the God Transformation Realm. Your lifespan of the Transcendent God Realm is as high as 10,000 years. At this point, Zhao Dan saw the confident smile on Hua Kai's face and said nothing. Everything is clear. The King of China is the strongest item. Even if Hua Kai cannot break through the gods, the country of China can at least flourish for nearly 1,000 years. By the time Hua Kai has so many children, I am afraid that there will not be one suitable heir. Furthermore, the second article you talked about. I think you are very suitable for the post of Dean of the Chinese State Council. If you want, I can take you to a place, the most important secret base of the Hua family. Hua Kai looked at Zhao Dan and smiled. Said. Dare you give me such an important position? Zhao Dan did not expect that Hua Kai would recruit himself, and it was not his imaginary promise to directly give you the most important position in China, which is equivalent to the position of Qin Yushi. It depends on whether you have the confidence to take it. But let me remind you that this is probably the most important decision in your life. If you agree to the future, you will be completely tied to the Hua family. Hua Kai saw that it was only a month. Zhao Dan's loyalty value soared to 95 points, indicating that it fully agrees with and is loyal to the rule of the Chinese family. Really? Then I have to try. How can you tie me to the Hua family? Zhao Dan disagreed. His cultivation base was one of the top powerhouses in the Central Plains for hundreds of years. He couldn't think that Hua Kai could do it. What method can be used to subdue oneself? If it is an ancient contract, it must be signed with one's own consent. Hua Kai heard this suddenly disappear. Zhao Dan felt that there seemed to be a voice calling himself. He knew it must be the secret realm of the Hua family, because the Zhao family has a special secret realm, and this secret realm is only available to the core members of the Zhao family. Knowledge. 2 hours later, Hua Kai and Zhao Dan appeared in Hua Kai's study together. Zhao Dan silently seemed to be meditating. Hua Kai checked his loyalty value and ascension, so it seems that Zhao Dan is actually a good person. You can also see this second shortcoming. The Hua family doesn't have to think about it at all. Hua Kai looked at Zhao Dan and said. It doesn't need to be considered. The welfare of the core members of the Hua family is beyond imagination. No one can look at ordinary money to embezzle, and their rights in the family space can easily support the consumption of a third-rank family. Zhao Dan nodded. Let's talk about the third issue of Chinese officials' corruption, for which I have implemented 5 layers of protection. First, all middle-level and above officials in China have an annual income of more than 200 gold. Senior officials and aristocratic families distribute points. If they are greedy in this way, they will really lose money. Secondly, under the supervision of the Political Affairs and Law Department of the State Council, they can't rub the sand in their eyes. They most like those departments whose finances are not disclosed, so that they can get points rewards. Third, the Supervision Department of the Commonwealth House has the obligation to inspect all officials. It does not interfere with each other, but both have a supervisory role. Fourth, the Intelligence Department of the Military Academy. The Intelligence Department of China has more than 60,000 personnel. They may live the lives of ordinary people in ordinary posts, but they can become the most important eyes of China. The last point is very important. The senior officials I signed and appointed, I know everything about them very well. They are the most loyal talents to China. Hua Kai returned. With such 3 basic foundations, China will have a bright future and become the hegemon of the world. It will not be difficult for China to become a worldless dynasty. I once told you that the Qin dynasty in China has fallen within 30 years, and China can achieve an imperishable dynasty. Today I take back what I said. It is not difficult for China to achieve a dynasty. The key is the problem is still to be able to unite everyone while preserving more human vitality. Zhao Dan also understood Hua Kai's thoughts, and he also began to call Hua Kai the king. Hua Kai appointed Zhao Dan as the dean of the House of Commons, so that only Shui Chen is not the leader of the third house of the National University of China, but Shui Chen has magic treasures and fairy soldiers, and his strength is not bad. By letting Zhao Dan be the president of the Chamber of State of the People's Republic of China, Hua Kai's attitude has been very clear. China's reliance on its ability and the law has the final say. Weak. However, Hua Kai does not have much desire for power. As long as he is strong and the Hua family is strong, everything is just a cloud for him. As a monarch, it is better to participate as little as possible. As long as the direction is good, the 3 major institutes will play a more important role. Obviously, China will become more prosperous. The replacement of the presidents of China's Military Council and the House of Commons in the past 8 years has made many families realize that China is not a country with the privilege of a monarch, and they have also seen that latecomers may also be in high positions. The people have a sense of fate. The things decided by Hua Kai and the core members of the meeting were implemented much faster than before. Hua Kai saw that the original ascension speed had just dropped, and in mid-April, it began to ascension quickly. NS 97%. Chapter 552. The Fall of King Yan. When China and Qin Chu cut off their exchanges, the people of Chu complained to the king of Chu. The cities of Chu that were prosperous are now depressed, and Chu's fiscal revenue is getting less and less. The black market and wandering Shah are in Chu. It can be seen everywhere that the Chu family tried every means to strengthen the rule of the cities, but the foundation of all this is strength and economy. Because the wild beasts are too busy, where can they have the strength to deal with those wandering Shah and each other? City gang. In the case of Chu State, Qin State caused a food shortage. Last winter, the price of food in various counties in Qin State rose sharply, especially in the Guangzhong area. Many people had already started to run out of food after the year. Some families took the opportunity to take these people into servants and merge. Farmland began to become a big landlord. Qin Guo wanted to stop but clean up these aristocratic families, who would take care of these hungry refugees. The court repeatedly discussed how to deal with it, and finally nothing came up. Qin State has been propagating that China burned tens of thousands of Qin's grains in spite of the sufferings of the world's people, but the people seemed not to buy it and cut off trade with China. In order to solve the domestic food problem, Qin took agriculture as domestic. The second most important thing to catch, the first thing of course is to clean up the wild beasts. Last winter, the 6 cities of the state of Qin were broken into the inner city, and more than 20 outer cities were broken. The population loss exceeded 200,000. Among them, the Qin state had more than 40,000 soldiers. In the past few years, Qin state has been fully training its soldiers, but it is new. The trained soldiers still couldn't keep up with the consumption. After the soldiers of the Qin state were killed, the country rewarded them with merits and land. The merits obtained by the families of these fallen relatives can make the family less active in military service and can farm with peace of mind after obtaining the land. However, this famine has left Qin's military meritless. The people can no longer think about too much in order to survive. The Qin family is growing step by step, and the Qin family's dominance over Qin is gradually weakening. The other is Liu. As a member of China's national lineup, the country is still growing in a positive direction. The people's fear of Qin has disappeared. There are often some Chinese newspapers here, and more. People have slowly understood the current situation in the Central Plains and are optimistic about the future of China. In late May, Huakai's fifth martial arts novel was completed. This novel got his wish and became a masterpiece. All of China's martial arts novels are prevalent in China. Many novelists have started based on the world background described by Huakai. He wrote some martial arts novels, which spread to the Qin and Chu countries in various forms, and were unanimously loved by the people in all cities. Huakai also passed on own thoughts and values to more people through own novels. Everyone also compares Huakai with Kong Zisheng. Huakai has a trend of surpassing Kong Zisheng and has become the #1 sage in the ages. Novelists have become the #1 school in the world over the past few decades, and even Confucianism is no more influential than novelists. More than 20 giants have emerged. The novelists of 100 schools of education are the only one of them, and other schools dare not compete with them. Especially with the rise of newspapers, everyone prefers to read interesting news and stories. Ordinary people do not like to read the philosophical concepts of other schools. Therefore, the cultural value of China has been growing rapidly. Huakai and Hua Chengmin chatted for 2 hours in the family secret realm space. Huakai took a test of Hua Chengmin's recent learning situation and carefully checked his new experience and thoughts. Hua Chengmin's perspective on issues is mostly the civilians at the bottom have a natural aversion to the aristocracy. Son, it's wrong for you to do this. The aristocratic family can have the strength and privileges they have today, and it was their ancestors' little bit of hard work. You simply hope that all people in the world have fair rights. This idea is originally wrong. Absolute fairness is the greatest unfairness. For the poor people without will, it doesn't make much sense for them to take it, and the foundation building realm uses the strength of the spirit pill to get ascension to defend our country. Take back all the privileges of the aristocratic family, then all the aristocratic families in the world will have no enterprising heart and only want to have fun, and this country will be rotten. You must consider the problem in an all-round way, and this world is divided into a bright side and a dark side. Father, I only need that the path of all the families is bright, then the country will naturally get better. Huakai taught Hua Chengmin. Father, these princes all know. The princes have seen a lot of things this year, and experienced a lot of things that I cannot experience in the palace, but many dark things in the grassland are particularly obvious. The weaker prey to the strong law shows the fullness. Grandpa intended to let me know more about the Yu family. In the future, when China rules the world, Yu family, Xiongnu and even Linhu will all become part of China. Grandpa did this to show the state of Xiongnu and Linhu. Now China has a dynasty, and it is inevitable to compete with Qin and Chu. China's influence on the grasslands also determines the strength of the three kingdoms in the Central Plains. Hua Chengmin said so. This is what your grandpa told you? Huakai asked. No, this is my own thinking. I plan to stay in the Yu family for a few more years and establish more friendly relations with the Chang, Dawan, and Wusun countries. This will also make up for the loss of China's severance of diplomatic relations with Qin Chu. Hua Chengmin said. I am also very pleased that you have such an opinion, Father. Although you are less than 7 years old now, you were born to be a king, and you will become a great emperor in the future. If you have anything you want to do, do it. Stay in the grassland and learn more about the grassland. You are also good, Huakai said to Hua Chengmin. It is of great significance to allow Hua Chengmin to stay in the Yu family, and the influence of China will be stabilized in the grasslands. As long as the relationship between China and the grassland countries continues to strengthen, the development momentum of China will remain, and the struggle with Qin and Chu will have confidence. And Huakai still has one of the most important concerns, and that is the unification of farming civilization and nomadic civilization. In Huakai's memory, the biggest threat after reunification came from the grasslands. It is much more difficult to unify the grasslands than the Central Plains. Huakai does not want him to spend decades on unifying the grasslands after he unifies the Central Plains. You must know the grasslands. The northern part is in severe cold, and it is impossible to conquer a country like Wusun with strong combat power. After Hua Chengmin left the family secret realm space, Huakai came to the chamber and saw Wushu Hua Zichen waiting for him here. My lord, there is news from the state of Lu that Qin Zheng went to Chufu city of the state of Lu and failed to find the king of Lu and came north. Hua Zichen said to Huakai. Qin Zheng is in Lu country at this time. Is this going to deal with China? Let all the core members of China be careful not to show up recently, and all important personnel are sent to Weisang. Inform the Yan Guo intelligence personnel to send this news to the Yan King Palace. Qin Zheng is probably planning to eradicate the wings of China, and also to Clan Chief Ujumukan and Clan Tifa, don't show up at will. Qin Zheng is very likely. In order to weaken the strength of China, they shot at them. After Hua Kai said that the core members of the Hua family quickly passed the news, many core members of the Hua family changed their residences and quietly sent important members of their families to Weisang. They had time to stay in the family secret realm space as much as possible. After 2 days of this, Hua Kai was amusing his own children in the palace. Now his eldest children are 4 or 5 years old, which is the most important age for studying. Hua Kai also cherishes the time spent with his children. Suddenly a huge shadow of a knife appeared in the direction of Jicheng in the east, and various powerful will powers in the direction of Yan State. Hua Kai put down his children and used mental energy to contact Luma while flying to the east. The huge shadow of the sword just now was Qin Zheng's great Sha Dragon Sparrow, and Qin Zheng had already gone to Jicheng of the Yan Kingdom and made a shot at King Yan. King Yan has been promoted to the Gold Core Realm late stage, and he should be able to hold on for a while even if he is not the enemy. If King Yan is smart, he better flee to his own direction. Don't protect Jicheng to fight Qin Zheng, otherwise he may not be able to hold on to himself. Rescue. When he flew out of Huacheng, Luma had chased him up. On horseback, Wukong was playing with his OWN Hunyuan Wujin stick, and saw Hua Kai yelling at him. Wukong is well aware of Qin Zheng's strength. Last time he used his talented supernatural powers, the body of the gods and demons, he was not Qin Zheng's opponent. Zhao Dan also chased from behind, and Hua Kai gave it to him when he saw it. The letter told him to stay in Weisang. If Qin Zheng comes to hide in the family secret realm space as soon as possible, don't fight with Qin Zheng easily. From Huacheng to Jicheng for more than 800 miles, Hua Kai just flew over the sky of Yanshan Mountain, and it began to rain heavily. In the heavy rain, spiritual qi was plentiful, and he knew he was too late. Flying to the sky above Jicheng, Hua Kai saw that most of the Yan Palace had been reduced to flat ground. The entire palace was silent. Everyone fled outside the palace and looked at it in fear. There were collapsed palaces and corpses everywhere in the palace. Hua Kai saw there are several big pits not far away, which were caused by self-destruction. Hua Kai mental energy explored the entire Yanwang Palace. Qin Zheng sensed the arrival of Hua Kai and flew out of a great hall and came to Hua Kai. Why are you killing King Yan? Hua Kai looked at Qin Zheng and asked. Everything in the world is lonely, and all the resistors must die. Qin Zheng covered his shoulders with white hair, looking at Hua Kai with murderous intent in his eyes. The world is suffering from the crisis of the explosion of wild beasts. All of this was caused by Qin. Now that the King Yan has fallen, the strength of the human race is getting weaker and weaker. Is it more important to dominate the world in your heart than the entire human race? At this time some Yan Guo Foundation building also flew out of the Great Hall just now. If Hua Kai didn't come in time, Yan Guo would surrender to Qin just like Qi Guo and oppose China. Everyone felt that Hua Kai's intent to kill was getting stronger and stronger. Hua Kai had a kind heart to everyone in the world. He was still thinking about giving Qin Zheng's elixir to the human race while waiting for China to dominate the world. Strength. 97%. Chapter 553. Those who hinder the solitary dominance of the world are solitary enemies. If Yan is the general trend of knowledge, the country can be exempted from breaking down today. If you don't follow Qin, you will kill you without mercy. Qin Zheng stared at the Yan Guzhong Foundation building in the distance and said. Are you taking me seriously? Actually telling you, the elixir who treats your injury has the king. Qin can dare to come on stage with me, speak up. If I lose, I will send the elixir. If you are defeated, and you decide between the world and the earth, which is regarded as a plea for all the races you killed. Hua Kai looked at Qin Zheng and said. The Yan Guo Foundation building, who originally had the intention of surrendering, immediately dispelled the idea of surrender. Isn't there a tall man here? If Hua Kai loses, it won't be too late for them to surrender. Hua Kai's words were a difficult choice for Qin Zheng. He saw that Hua Kai's realm had reached the 9th level of the Gold Core realm. He had no choice but to forcefully kill him. He also considered carefully to be able to come to Yan Kingdom today. Gaotai is a general battle between the two countries. He is not very clear about Hua Kai's cards and does not want to take this risk. Why is it so troublesome? As long as you kill you today, China is not in Qin's pocket. Qin Zheng did not agree to speak up and talk with Huakai. What he is most sure of is his own strength, thinking of China's Azure Dragon Corps, and the other 6 major legions that the intelligence returned. Qin Zheng hated in his heart, and today no matter what, he will take Huakai. Qin Zheng also knew that Huacheng had a spiritual formation. It was too difficult for Huakai to kill in Huacheng. Today Huakai himself came to Jicheng in Yan country. Such a chance is rare. He ignored the foundation building of Yan country. Circumstances, kill Shang Huakai. Huakai also has experience in fighting with Qin Zheng. He took out the scary night spear to kill Qin Zheng. Last time Qin Zheng and Wukong fought in the Qin palace, killing many people in the palace, and his karma increased. Today he has made so many killings in the Yan palace, and now his murderous aura is completely unable to suppress. If there is a chance today, Huakai will also kill Qin Zheng here. The two collided in the air, and Tru Chi fell in the Yanwang palace, causing huge ravines. All foundation buildings in the Yan kingdom were far away. They saw that China was much stronger than the fallen Yan Wang. Facing Qin Zheng, he didn't let the wind fall. Kill. Huakai opened and closed with the night threat gun, Zochen's splitting air gun used, and spatial fluctuations continuously appeared in the air, and all the nearby spiritual chi and the power of aptitude were shattered by the shock. Qin Zheng's martial skill is a bit worse than Huakai, and his big summer dragon sparrow can no longer suppress Huakai's scary night spear, and he no longer has the advantage in power, and he was suddenly defeated. Huakai pressed and beat. I didn't expect your growth rate to be so fast. Today I have to get rid of you anyway. Qin Zheng said. Seeing a golden cudgel has come behind him, he hurriedly retreated. Sha Long blocked Wukong's attack, but was shaken back hundreds of meters. Seeing here, Huakai hurried to catch up. He has rich experience in cooperating with Wukong. Wukong usually attacked him as the main attacker. Today, Huakai is the main attacker, because Huakai also wants to test the strength of the world's #1 powerhouse. To what extent? Qin Zheng saw this and knew that it would be impossible if he didn't exert all his strength today. Countless gray gas surrounded Qin Zheng. A black barrier was scattered around Qin Zheng. Qin Zheng was suspended in the air and surrounded by endless karma. His eyes turned blood red, and the fairy blood dragon pond hovered over Qin Zheng's head. Huakai watched Qin Zheng release his own killing enchantment this time. He also understood that Qin Zheng was the #1 power in the world. Where the whole cards are. As a sage of military strategists, Qin Zheng's karma in his body is one of his strengths. His karma in his body has reached a terrifying existence, which is more than 100 times higher than the karma gained after Huakai burned Shenyang City last year. The average person has reached this point. The mind will be overwhelmed by endless karma and become a killing machine without thought. Qin Zheng used the blood dragon pond to suppress the karma in the body, and now he binds mental energy to the blood dragon pond and uses the blood dragon pond to ensure that his spirit is not lost, so that his body can exert the strongest military sage. Killing enchantment. It's just that his body will break faster in this way. Huakai felt that killing enchantment the inner owner's heart was restless, and Qin Zheng's dark willpower was ascensioned a lot, and the endless willpower rushed to him. For a moment, Huakai felt that he seemed to be plunged into endless darkness. Among them, it seems that death is the only way to solve the darkness. Cao Shayi the spell suddenly appeared. Huakai woke up and saw that Qin Zheng had brought Big Summer Dragon Sparrow to kill him, and he used Jihi Lun to block the opponent's attack, feeling that Qin Zheng's strength and speed were higher than just now. It has a 20% effect. Huakai used Ice Will to imprison Qin Zheng and wanted to affect his reaction speed, but the opponent was completely immune to all will imprisonment. Huakai could only retreat while parrying the opponent's attack. The two of them are now power of will, all of them are invalid to the opponent. Qin Zheng's strength is ascension by 20%, and it is like a combat weapon. All the moves have been used, and the pressing Huakai keeps retreating. When Wukong saw this, a loud roar came from him, and his body grew bigger and bigger, until he reached a height of nearly 30 meters, and then stopped. He picked up the Hunyuan Wujin stick and killed Qin Zheng. Qin Zheng instinctively felt that Wukong was even more dangerous. He focused the battle on Wukong. Huakai suddenly felt the pressure lightened. He began to assist Wukong. As long as he found the opportunity to defeat Qin Zheng with a single shot, then this will happen. He won half the battle. Wukong has experience in fighting with Qin Zheng. It has taken the 100 death pill can quickly recover as long as one breath. In many cases, he does not have to worry about Qin Zheng's attacks. Wukong. Huakai was looking for a chance to attack Qin Zheng. Qin Zheng had already struggled to deal with the crazy Wukong, and Wakai was embarrassed by him. Wukong hit Qin Zheng with Hunyuan Wujin cudgel several times. Qin Zheng was shot and flew for more than a kilometer, but the opponent just didn't fall down like Vajra's undamaged body. And Wakai wants to hurt the other party once. As long as the power of Frost will enters Qin Zheng's body, then the initiative will be completely on his side, but Qin Zheng also understands that he will not let Wakai scream in the night anyway. Gun hurt yourself. More than 10 minutes have passed unconsciously, and Yan Guzhong's foundation building realm saw the battle in the sky and couldn't help but widen his eyes. The strength of Qin Zheng and Wakai was completely beyond their cognition. No matter who they attacked, they have exceeded their understanding, and everyone knows that in such a situation, Yan must find a backer. As for who the final backer should be, everyone actually knows in their hearts. Wakai saw the Yan Kingdom Foundation building in the air and quietly left. He nodded, so the Yan Kingdom Foundation building still chose to believe in China. As long as they left Qin Zheng, they would win and they would not be able to control the entire Yan Kingdom, which means that Qin Zheng's mission has failed. After more than 10 minutes, Wakai saw that Qin Zheng's physical injury was no longer light, and his aura was not as good as at the beginning, but Wukong God and Demon body time was coming soon. Wakai knew that if he could not build up within 10 minutes with a powerful advantage, when Wukong loses his combat power, he is probably not Qin Zheng's opponent. When Wukong and Qin Zheng faced off again, Huakai blocked Qin Zheng's retreat. Instead of sneak attacks, he began to attack each other with Wukong. Qin Zheng saw the opportunity to attack Huakai with all his strength, and Wukong watched. At this point, the attack also began to be fearful, and Qin Zheng began to suppress Wakai for a while. Qin Zheng Big Shaw Dragon Sparrow has attacked Huakai's chest more than 1 meter. This strike Huakai can completely resist with the Scary Night Spear, but he is completely defenseless. Scary Night Spear at the same time, it pierced Qin Zheng's chest. After only a moment of consideration, Qin Zheng has made a decision. He Great Shaw Dragon Sparrow Qin Guiyun blessed and fought hard to kill Huakai. Seeing that the Qin Guo Yun blessed by Great Summer Dragon Sparrow has reached a very high level. The level of horror, if this strike kills Zhong Wakai, he will inevitably die. Wakai seemed to have thought of this a long time ago. The sky suddenly illuminated by his golden light armor was bright. Night gun suddenly joined and became bigger. The energy accumulated by wounding the ugly toad last time erupted with endless national fortune. Wakai after swallowing the elixir prepared in his mouth, he felt a powerful force attack his body. The high-level spirit armor on his body was instantly broken, the software was also breached, and a powerful dark force entered his body. There is no pain in the body. Looking at the Yanguo Foundation building secretly in the distance, they did not expect that the two of them would come to an end-to-end game. Wakai was slashed in the chest by Qin Zheng's Great Shaw Dragon Sparrow, and Great Shaw Dragon Sparrow almost cut Wakai in 2 stages. Wakai fell from the air without knowing his life or death. Qin Zheng's injuries were also very serious. Although Qin Zheng possessed the spirit armor, killing enchantment and blood dragon pawn 3rd stage guardian, he was pierced in the chest by Wakai's scary night gun. He just stabilized his body. He was hit by Wukong with a stick and flew out. Wukong and Wakai have cooperated for many years. Of course, he knew Wakai's thoughts. He took the risk of changing the injury with Qin Zheng and he couldn't lose this hard-earned opportunity. After Qin Zheng was knocked into the air, blood kept flowing out of the corners of his mouth. He could feel the scary night spear in his chest constantly absorbing own energy, and the endless ice will entered his body, reducing his speed a lot. Qin Zheng's first reaction was to pull out the scary night spear or he would be in danger today. But how could Wukong give him this opportunity? He tried his best to kill Qin Zheng. Hunyuan Wujin Cudgel kept using Qin Zheng and was forced to use Big Shalong to stop him. After 10 moves, Qin Zheng's speed has increased. The slower he gets, he can only be beaten passively. The true qi, karma, and mental energy in his body are constantly being absorbed by the scary night spear. After being hit by Wukong, Qin Zheng can no longer insist on falling from the air. 97%. Chapter 554. Qin Zheng was severely injured by Wukong's this strike and fell from the air. Seeing that victory was right in front of him, Wukong's body suddenly began to shrink, and it had reached its limit. After Wukong became small, he passed out into a coma. Qin Zheng fell on the ground in the Yanwang Palace and was knocked out of a big pit. He lay motionless in the pit. Wakai was lying on the ground and had no response. The result of this battle seemed to be the same. The foundation building in the distance of Yan State did not dare to approach, because although the sky had been torrential rain, there was obviously no increasing trend, indicating that the two people lying on the ground did not die. A little bit of time passed. 3 minutes later, Qin Zheng let out a cough. He felt a few mouthfuls of blood and felt that his whole body was stiff and unable to move. Blood Dragon Pond endless energy was injected into his body, and Qin Zheng slowly stood up. His body was surrounded by endless ice crystals, and the whole body's karma was being sucked away by the Blood Dragon Pond being released. Qin Zheng opened the killing enchantment to be absorbed by the scary night spear. After more than 10 minutes, Qin Zheng's gray-black karmic aura became weaker and weaker. His killing enchantment finally could not be maintained. It turned into a black mist and was sucked into the night gun. Qin Zheng kept moving from Blood Dragon Pond draws energy to repair itself. Even if the energy is absorbed by night gun, it doesn't matter. Your spear is very good. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is a magical weapon. If it weren't for the true dragon blood essence in the Blood Dragon Pond, I would definitely die today, but it is a pity that this scary night spear can't kill me. Qin Zheng looked at said Wakai, who was lying motionless on the ground in the distance. Qin Zheng grabbed the scary night spear with his right hand and pulled out the gun from his chest, blood spurting more than 2 meters away, but Qin Zheng just stabilized his body and quickly stood up. You lost killing enchantment and your body was seriously injured. I am afraid that you will not escape death today. The power of ice will should have penetrated into your body. If you do not organize it, wait for ice will to enter your consciousness. Hi, that will definitely die. Suddenly Qin Zheng's Jia gun disappeared, and Wakai slowly got up from the ground. He actually woke up very early and felt that Jia gun was absorbing energy faster and faster in Qin Zheng's body. So he quietly waited for his physical injury to recover. The power of dark will in his body was slow even if the elixir was dissolved. You can't kill me. The power of dark will in your body is constantly corroding all organs of the body. Even if you have elixir to repair the damage caused by dark will, it will take a long process. And today I will not keep you. No matter how much it costs, I will kill you today. Qin Zheng said when he came to Huakai. You can no longer use killing enchantment. The soldier sage method can no longer be used. What to use to kill me? You should be the damned today. If you are alone in strength, you are not my opponent. Stand up. Screaming gun appearing in his hands, Qin Zheng's dark will caused very limited damage to his body. Wakai's power of will is not lower than Qin Zheng's, and his physique has reached the level of God transformation. Constantly repaired, his injury has almost recovered. Wukong also sat up at this time. Although it is currently in a period of weakness and can no longer use the divine and demon body, it is still possible to assist Huakai in killing Qin Zheng. Everything is over. This karma has bothered me for more than 200 years. For the first time today, I feel relaxed in my whole body. This makes me even more determined. Qin Zheng said. Wakai felt that the other party had put killing enchantment when they were sent into the sky. Their surroundings suddenly became endless purgatory. Wakai found himself trapped in a sea of blood, surrounded by endless killing aura. Qin Zheng, you actually used killing enchantment to attack me. Human race has used the sage world to attack the first person of its kind since ancient times. But, have you ever thought that I am also sage, and I still have sage with 2 holy scriptures and 6 masterpieces? If you can abandon the world of sage and kill me, wouldn't I use the world of sage to resist? Wakai stood in purgatory and saw countless soldiers coming to him. These soldiers were not strong, but they were triumphant in large numbers. Wakai's killing intent continued to rise. He knew that he had to kill all these soldiers to get out. This world, and this is Qin Zheng's world of killing, if he does not kill himself, enemies will continue to appear, and he will not be able to escape without killing these soldiers. Haha, then you can try it. It is said that you are the strongest sage in the world. See how you break my world of killing. You are already in the world of killing. What about sage? Qin Zheng's voice appeared in void on the above. Wakai tried to enter the family secret realm space but couldn't communicate. He was consciously caught in the world of Qin Zheng's killing, so he must go out as soon as possible, otherwise he would really be killed by Qin Zheng. Wakai hated in his heart and communicated with the journey to the west world. He threw all the people who tried out of the world. The huge journey to the west came, and countless heavenly soldiers descended in the sky, and all the creatures of the journey to the west began to launch to killing the world. Attack. Wakai sat on the ground to calm the killing intent in his heart. He operated the meditation technique and ignored everything around him. Several great powers in the journey to the west surrounded him, commanding all the creatures to occupy this killing world. On the ruins of the Yan Palace, Wakai sat on the ground, meditation Ju circling and plunged into a black fog. Qin Zheng wanted to kill Wakai quickly. His killing the world was a special attack. As the soldier sage, this strike is enough to kill all the existence below any transcendent god realm, and even the big demon can seriously injure the opponent. But the damned monkey stood in front of him again, and abandoned his own killing the world. Qin Zheng's strength was also greatly reduced. In addition, he was seriously injured and it was difficult to play 30% of his strength. Wukong held Hunyuan Wujin Club to block the way of Qin Zheng. It was just 3 moves. The weak Wukong was not Qin Zheng's opponent at all. He was scarred all over his body but he did not retreat. Qin Zheng Great Sha Long cut off Wukong's legs. Wukong saw Qin Zheng want to kill Huakai. He struggling to jump to Qin Zheng's side. A huge ghost of the monkey descended, and Wukong used all his mental energy to stop Qin Zheng's attack. When Qin Zheng saw this, Big Sha Dragon Sparrow threw it at Wukong. Wukong lost his legs and wanted to escape, but was bound by a powerful imprisoning force. Big Sha Dragon Sparrow pierced Wukong's body and pierced Wukong. He was nailed to the ground. The phantom of the god monkey in the sky disappeared instantly, and Qin Zheng turned his head and walked slowly towards Huakai. Now no one can help Huakai. Today, Huakai will die. When you enter Killing World, don't think of it, but I have to kill you with my own hands to be relieved. The state of Qin had been able to dominate the world 22 years ago, but with the passage of time, the fortune of heaven gradually shifted from the state of Qin. A small Chinese family changed the trend of the fortune of heaven, so that now, China National Energy and the Qin Chamber protested. I am really helpless to kill a human genius like you. I can only blame you for the wrong time. Qin is bound to be unified. Only when Qin unifies the central planes can I be recognized by heavenly Tao, and I will help the impact with human luck. The barrier enters the realm of transforming gods. I have to thank you for absorbing my body karma, reducing the burden of Blood Dragon Pond, and allowing me to get rid of this killing world so that I have the opportunity to eliminate all karma in my body. From then on, there will be no more sages of soldiers in the world. After unifying the central planes, I will eliminate the demonic beasts and lead the entire human race to eliminate all savage beasts and return the human race to a prosperous age. At that time, all the races will only appreciate the solitary scenery and feats. And you are just obstructing the stumbling block of solitary dominance. Qin Zheng said and came to Huakai. Then how do you explain China to the world, how to fill in the memory of the world, including Fahrenheit paper, woolen leather clothing, and China's food and culture? You restrict the actions of the people and how to restrict their thinking. Suddenly a voice sounded and Qin Zheng's eyes widened. He saw that Wakai had opened his eyes and was looking at him quietly. How did you get out of the killing world? Non-soldier sages can't escape the killing world at all. Qin Zheng looked at Wakai and asked in disbelief. I can't escape the killing world, but I can destroy him. I just tried your sage world, it's time for you to try my world. Wakai said with a smile. Qin Zheng saw it before he could even react. He came into a piece of sky. Just now, in order to kill all the remaining Qin Zheng's killing world at the fastest speed, Huakai paid 20% of the power of the world. Return it to the world, then in the time it dissipates, let Qin Zheng also try to own the world. Qin Zheng only saw hundreds of thousands of celestial soldiers, Shira, monster race, and human race masters continue to kill him. He lost the control of the Great Sha Dragon Sparrow and could only deal with it with his fists. Suddenly, a figure of gold core came to his side. Qin Zheng saw after arriving. He hurried back despite everything, but it was still slow. Journey to the west could blew himself to death. Qin Zheng could not stabilize his body after being blown away for dozens of miles. At this time, several gold core realms flew towards him, surrounded him and all blew himself up. Qin Zheng turned into a god realm suddenly, his body was blown into blood and blood. Wakai sensed that Qin Zheng was seriously injured and dying and lost consciousness. He watched the journey to the west dissipate between heaven and earth. When he walked to Qin Zheng's side, Wakai did not dare to be careless. In order to deal with Qin Zheng, he lost his journey to the west. In order to prevent accidents, he nailed Qin Zheng to the ground with the scary night spear, and unlimited energy was transmitted from Qin Zheng's body to in the nightmare gun. Huakai absorbed more energy from the night gun today than ever before. If the energy of this strike is released, it can seriously injure the big demon. Watching Qin Zheng's energy enter the scary night spear, and seeing Qin Zheng about to die, Wakai looked at Qin Zheng's completely broken corpse, and he was relieved that Qin Zheng fell to the power of Qin. It is not even as good as Chu. China has become the most powerful country in the world, and China is not far from the dynasty. 97%. Chapter 555. The energy in Qin Zheng's body is continuously injected into the scary night spear, and the real dragon blood essence in Blood Dragon Pond continuously replenishes Qin Zheng's body, so that his last breath of life will not be extinguished, and Hua Kai is also happy to do so. Zhang Yi Chang. The energy absorbed by Qin Zheng is actually the energy absorbed by Qin Zheng from Blood Dragon Pond, which has reached a very terrifying level. The energy in this is like a vast ocean. Hua Kai doesn't know what creatures can survive here under a single strike. He saw that Jieqiang was absorbing less and less energy from Qin Zheng's corpse, and was about to solve Qin Zheng's life with a punch. At this time, Jieqiang seemed to be full and stopped absorbing Qin Zheng's energy. Hua Kai suddenly felt a bad feeling. Jing Yi Gun suddenly withdrew from Qin Zheng's body. Hua Kai hurriedly attacked Qin Zheng, not to see Qin Zheng die in front of him. Hua Kai was not at ease. Qin Zheng, as the monarch of Qin, inherited the great Zhou dynasty. Who knows what whole cards he has. However, a very confident punch suddenly hit the empty space. Qin Zheng's figure disappeared. Hua Kai saw the sky blood dragon pond turning into a blood-red stone and spinning continuously. He hurriedly used Ice Will to imprison the opponent to prevent escape. Hua Kai mental energy disappeared before it even touched Blood Dragon Pond. Hua Kai opened the Eye of Reality and made sure that Qin Zheng and his natal spirit treasure Blood Dragon Pond had disappeared, and he could not help but sighed. If it weren't for his heart to be too cruel, he wanted to let Jia Gun absorb more energy. Qin Zheng died early. Now it's useless to blame himself. Qin Zheng's body has been completely destroyed, only the last breath is left, and the energy in Blood Dragon Pond is almost sucked by Scary Night Spear. Qin Zheng doesn't know if he wants to recover from his injuries. How long it takes, even if it can restore his lifespan, it will not be allowed. Qin Zheng lost the killing enchantment and his strength was greatly reduced, and the energy in his body was drained by the Scary Night Spear. In addition to the power of Ice Will in his body, the chance of survival is not great. There is no threat anymore. Hua Kai came to Wukong and felt that countless golden will around him was approaching. Its magical power energy absorption combined with the effect of 100 Death Pill was extremely powerful, and Wukong had only a half-broken body now. During the rapid recovery, Hua Kai felt relieved when he heard its normal heartbeat. He sat next to Wukong and waited for it to recover, while slowly comprehending the experience of fighting Qin Zheng just now. In the battle with Qin Zheng, Hua Kai used all his strength. In the end, even the journey to the West World blew himself up. He also saw that the Sage World is also divided into strengths and weaknesses. Qin Zheng's killing the world compares Ji journey to the West. The world is more than a little different. There is also Qin Zheng's energy use. The two use true qi, willpower, and mental energy mostly not alone. This is probably the gap between the 9th level of Gold Core and Zochin. Hua Kai has also experienced Qin Zheng Dark Will. The destruction of own body is useful for his perception of the Gold Core realm Zochin. The people of Yan Kingdom also saw that the battle in King Yan's palace was over, and several foundation building real mists saw Hua Kai sitting quietly next to Wukong's body. They breathed a sigh of relief and slowly walked towards him. Thank you for China's help, otherwise Jicheng will inevitably be overwhelmed today. I don't know what King Qin is now. A member of the Yan Kingdom Foundation building came to Hua Kai and asked. Qin Zheng escaped, but he was left with a sigh of relief. It's hard to say whether he dare to show up again in the future. He has lost Great Sha Dragon Sparrow and Soldier Sage killing enchantment. Hua Kai didn't open his eyes and said while sitting beside Wukong. That's great. Yan Kingdom, this time King Yan fell, 11 people were killed in Yanyan's 18 rides, and the remaining 7 were all injured. Most of the damage in the foundation building of the Kingdom of Yan was damaged. We originally advised King Yan not to go to war. But King Yan does not listen. A foundation building realm said to Hua Kai. Hua Kai didn't answer. While recalling his previous combat experience, he felt that his internal injuries were recovering quickly. Qin Zheng might have entered a secret realm similar to the family secret realm space, and he wanted to wait here for a while. Everyone in Yanguo saw that Hua Kai did not answer, leaving one person to wait, and all the others left. Now that the king of Yan has fallen, there is still no final conclusion about the future of Yan Kingdom. They must discuss the future path of Yan Kingdom together. For 3 days, Hua Kai sat motionless beside Wukong. Many people in the country of Yan did not dare to disturb Hua Kai. Now the situation in the Central Plains is clear and Hua Kai seriously hurts Qin Zheng. The only option for Yan country is to join China, but it requires the discussion is whether the entire state of Yan will be fully incorporated or whether it will become the autonomy of the vassal state of China. In the afternoon of the next day, Wukong's severed legs disappeared between the heavens and the earth. It only took more than a day for Wukong's legs to grow back. Hua Kai felt Wukong's fingers move a little, and he opened his eyes. Seeing Wukong has woken up. Wukong got up and looked at Hua Kai and nodded in satisfaction. It seemed that he was very satisfied that Hua Kai was not dead yet. He spoke monkey language to Hua Kai for a while, many of which were pronounced close to humans, but only those who were familiar with it could do it. Understand. He didn't die, he was saved by Blood Dragon Pond. But even if he can recover in the end, there is no threat to us. Hua Kai said. Wukong bared his teeth happily. Qin Zheng has no threat to China, so what else can stop the rise of China? The most powerful thing about China is its economic and national strength. Without Qin Zheng, the world will change drastically. Even though Qin and Chu are united, they will not be China's opponents. Now the main opponent of the human race is the desolate beast. We have completely taken the initiative, and there is no need to worry about uniting now. To truly unite the human race, siege the city is the most helpless approach. What we want is the hearts of the people under the world, so we should give the people under the world some time and let them slowly adapt to China. Hua Kai smiled as he looked at Wukong, who was happy. In the distance of the Yanguo Foundation building, he saw Hua Kai and Wukong joking. He hurriedly told the guards in the palace nearby. Soon more than a dozen Foundation building realms brought the core members of the Yan family to Hua Kai. See the King of China. The people of Yan state saluted Hua Kai. You discuss what the result will be, just say it directly. Hua Kai didn't talk nonsense, and asked them directly about their plans. Going back to the King of China, the Yan family hopes to migrate to the northern part of Liaodong County to graze for a living. Now the Yan family has no ability to manage the entire Yan country. It is all determined by the King of China. The representative of the Yan family said. The Yan family can be one of the vassal states of China, with a territory of 100,000 square kilometers of grassland in the northern part of Liaodong County, and protects the northern area of Donghu grassland for China. Although King Yan has fallen unfortunately, the strength of the Yan family is still there. It can be the first-rank family in China, and the Yan family can leave a branch to go to Huacheng. The rest of Yan's family was re-rated in accordance with the requirements of China and enjoyed the same rights as the Chinese family. According to the region of Yan state, it can be divided into 4 counties: Liaodong County, Laoshi County, Biping County and Xuantu County. Xuantu County belongs to the Yan family style, including Xuantacheng, Zigamacheng, Gaoshancheng, Wangpingcheng, Laoyangcheng, Goguryeo, Haocheng Kicheng and all the northern grasslands. So what do you think? Hua Kai looked at everyone and asked. Yan state has reached such a point that there is no room for bargaining with Hua Kai. Although there are still nearly 10 people in the Yan's Foundation building, there are more than 20 people in the entire Yan State Foundation building, but there is no gold core in Yan State. They are getting weaker and weaker. They can only use the Foundation building realm to stop them when they encounter demonic beasts. After a few years, the number of Foundation building realms will become less and less, and the country of Yan will only gradually go to extinction. Now it is the time when the wild beasts are rampant, and the number of the wild beast demonic beasts is also growing. It is very rare to have someone willing to take over the mess of Yan Kingdom and protect them. Thanks to the king, the Yan family must protect the northern border for China. As long as there is one person living in the Yan family, the northern grassland tribes will not be able to enter the territory of China. The man knelt in front of Hua Kai and gave him the courtesy of his courtiers. Hua Kai nodded and motioned for them to get up. I have seen the king. The other Foundation building realms in the Yan Kingdom bowed to Hua Kai. After that, they were all Hua Kai's courtiers. You should all know the laws and regulations of China. Even the dependent countries must act in accordance with the rules of China. The establishment of the 3 branches of the 3 courts and all the management of the people belong to the leadership of Weiseng. Just as the Hua family is in China, you are all aware of this. Hua Kai looked at the Yan family representative and asked. Back to the king, the Yan family knows. The representative of the Yan family replied. So everything is easy to handle. The people of Yan state will still have their own life before, but the power of the Yan family and the family has been taken back by the 3 major houses. What the family must do now is to enter the 3 major houses to fight for greater benefits for their families. In this way, for them, the destruction of Yan Kingdom is not necessarily harmful to them. Of course, the Yan family can't stay here in the Yanwang Palace. Huakai gave the Yan family a month to move out of the Yanwang Palace. As for how to deal with it in the future, that is something that the Urban Planning Department of the State Council led by Shui Chen should consider. Huakai doesn't want to wait for Qin Zheng here anymore, and Huakai doesn't want to accept such a mess in the Qin country. It is much better than having such a pile of unusable land. Now China has 4 more counties. In the next 2 decades, China must first focus on its own development. Back to China, Huakai entered the family secret realm space and told the core members of the family what happened in Jicheng. Although Qin Zheng was not dead yet, China lost the journey to the West secret realm world, but everyone's still very happy. Huakai defeated Qin Zheng and pushed the opponent down from the altar of the world's #1 master. This is more important to China than 100,000 elites. The greatest pressure on all countries in the Central Plains against Qin is actually Qin Zheng. Qin Zheng has already, after being seriously injured by Huakai, the core members of the Hua family are all motivated to consider when China will enter the dynasty era. 98%. Chapter 556. On June 1, 2008, the core members of the Hua family had just finished discussing matters for the next month. On this day, China began to have many new actions. There was a mansion not far away from the Lu Palace. 2 ordinary guards stood at the door. Suddenly, Prime Minister Lu brought more than 20 Lu officials to the door of the mansion, which surprised the pedestrians on the road. General Kai, quickly inform the king that I have something to report to him. Prime Minister Lu said to the guard. Prime Minister Cheng, you. This guard is a guard next to King Lu, wearing his own ordinary armor here just to hide King Lu's traces. Don't ask so much. King Qin Zheng killed King Yan. Wang Huakai of China went to Yan Kingdom Jicheng to fight with King Qin. King Qin was seriously injured and disappeared. Now Yan Kingdom has returned to China. Prime Minister Lu said loudly. When General Kai heard this, he no longer stopped Prime Minister Cheng and took Lu officials to see King Lu. King Lu had already sensed the abnormal movement outside the mansion. The state of Lu was able to hold on to wrestling with Qin and Chu until now. It all relied on his ability to hide in one hand. In addition, China needed them to block Qin and Chu. Lu needed to do it. Only by buffering, Lu can survive till now. He saw that the Prime Minister and the generals brought all the important officials of the state of Lu directly to him, and he knew that this incident was definitely not a trivial matter, and most of it was a good thing. I have seen the king. News from China. Prime Minister Lu told King Lu about Qin Zheng's serious injury and death. Take this seriously. Who told you this news? King Lu hurriedly stepped forward when he heard it, grabbing the Prime Minister's arm and said excitedly. It was the news from the horse. He also sent the words of the King of China to let the Lu state open the border with Qin and Chu. All caravan tax revenues will return to normal. Qin and Chu have troops entering Lu. Let us not stay hands, the Prime Minister said with a happy smile. The news sent by Zichen can't be wrong. Even if Qin Zheng is not dead this time, Qin's momentum will inevitably fall, and the odds of winning against China are not big. The King of China is less than 35 years old now. It has become the peak powerhouse of the world, and this world is likely to belong to the Hua family. The King of China allowed us to trade normally, but also to become stronger, which shows that China has the confidence to fight against the 2 countries of Qin and Chu. Now that the wild beasts are rampant, China will definitely refuse to take over the dilapidated Central Plains. Now everything is already very clear. Wang Lu said when he heard his own taste. As a foundation building, which has been able to deal with the 4 first-ranked countries for decades, the state of Lu can become stronger and stronger. There is no doubt about the ability of King Lu. The officials of the state of Lu also nodded and agreed with King Lu's views. My lord, what should the Chinese Congress do next? What should we do? The general looked at King Lu and asked. Since the founding of the People's Republic of China, China has never taken the initiative to attack any country. Instead, it has been able to become the world's most powerful country step by step. It relies on their incredible resources to negotiate and make decisions with everyone. At this time, they will certainly not take the initiative to attack. The goal of King China is different from King Qin. It is for the common prosperity and strength of the people of the world that so many civilians will go to China with all their hardships. Qin and Chu will inevitably not dare to take the initiative to attack China in the future, unless the world's wild beasts are completely calm. The significance is great. What we have to do is to continue to deepen relations with China. If they can send elites to Lu, it would be great. Even if Qin Zheng is not dead, it is unlikely that he will attack me again, because even if I kill me, the general trend of Qin and China has no effect. Wang Lu said with a smile. He has nothing to hide from his fear of Qin Zheng's assassination, and it is precisely because of this that many aristocratic families feel at ease and are willing to follow him. That said, our Lu state persisted until the world's wild beasts were put down, and in the final three kingdoms' hegemony, we will still be reduced to the battlefield of the three kingdoms. It is very likely that we are facing the offensive of Qin or Chu and relying on the support of China, right? An official from the state of Lu spoke at this time. Everyone can't help but start to feel miserable again. Last year, Lu state lost 3 foundation buildings. This year, the pressure on the beasts will be even greater. Without the gold core, let alone competing with the three kingdoms, self-protection is very difficult. If they can persist until the world's wild beasts are almost wiped out, then what can Lu state do when facing the final decisive battle of the three kingdoms? Lu's approach is bound to be the same as what he has done in recent years, but it may be more tragic. Seeing everyone's silence, King Lu also knows what everyone thinks. In the past few years, he has communicated with Hua Zichen quite a lot, and he knows some unknown secrets of China. These secrets are among the core members of the Hua family. Hua Zichen said something that couldn't be more normal. I know all your thoughts. Yan state returns to China, and Lu state does not make any sense to stick to it. In a few days, I personally went to Huacheng to talk with Zichen in detail, and then we gathered all the family members of Lu to discuss whether to submit to China. Wang Lu said. It is normal for the Lu family to go to China. Because the Lu family and the Hua family are in-laws. King Lu knows the true strength and potential of China. It is also normal for the Lu family to go to China in terms of friendship. The news of Huakai's victory over Qin Zheng has spread throughout the eastern Divine region in less than half a month, and even Wusun country, the northernmost part of the grassland, has known it. In the palace of the King of Chu, the King of Chu walked back and forth dozens of times in the Great Hall after receiving the news. Not far away, several ministers of the state of Chu bowed their heads and said nothing. Among the absolute disadvantages, if Qin Zheng dies, then Qin will be torn apart. As the first opponent of Qin for hundreds of years, Chu's understanding of Qin is not comparable to other countries. Did you talk about how Huakai and Qin Zheng fought? Qin state did not come out to refute the rumors. Qin state is now Li Si or Beiki in power. King Chu finally stopped and asked. I heard that Qin Zheng sacrificed his own killing enchantment. Huakai also used the journey to the West sacred scripture as a price. The two of them smashed out real fire, and Qin Zheng's big Sha dragon sparrow has been acquired by Huakai. This can be confirmed by our eyeliner in China. It seems that Li Si is presiding over the political affairs of Qin state. Qin state has always tried every means to eliminate the rumors of Qin Zheng's death in China, but Qin Zheng has never appeared. I think the news that Qin Zheng was seriously injured this time could not be wrong, otherwise Qin state to clarify. Chu state prime minister said. It can't be wrong. Huakai's victory over Qin Zheng cannot be wrong. Qin Zheng must have been seriously injured, but I don't believe that Qin Zheng will die so easily. He must have a chance to stand up, otherwise. Chu Wang said at this point. He stopped talking. How could King Chu not know the strength of Huakai, but he didn't expect Huakai to be so strong. Now the general situation of the Central Plains is all on the side of China. If Qin Zheng falls, how can Chu Wang alone be Huakai's opponent? Chu can only hope that Qin Zheng will not die, so that their two countries can work together to contend with Huakai and Chu. In order to have that opportunity. While the whole world was discussing the battle between Qin Zheng and Huakai, the city of Shenyang was already in a mess. Many of the foundation buildings who were imprisoned by Qin Zheng in Shenyang city also began to look for various excuses. It would not make any sense for them to stay in Shenyang city, and Qin state's promise to dominate the world was completely broken. Bai Qi and Li Si and other important members of the Qin state are discussing countermeasures. Qin Zhao sits in the main seat and everyone has a heavy expression. We don't know the specific outcome of the battle between King Father and Huakai Jicheng. All the rumors now come from the country of China. Father must have something to delay before returning. Let's not let the Qin country go into chaos. Qin Zhao said, looking at Qin Guo's important officials present. The minister has already dispatched all the sharp soldiers, the standing army, and the guard army. If someone spreads rumors that they will kill you. However, many aristocratic foundation buildings in Shenyang city have been looking for opportunities to go home. They must have believed the rumors. We can't keep suppressing them. Go down, Qin state official replied. It is very problematic for him to say this. He claims to be a minister to Qin Zhao, but Qin Zhao is still only the heir of Qin State, the son of Qin State. In fact, everyone knows well that as long as King Qin fights with all his strength, the crisis of fall is there. Based on their knowledge of the fighting that day, Qin Zheng's chances of surviving were very small. How about we kill all these people? Bai Qi said suddenly. Everyone was already preparing for the worst result, because even if Qin Zheng could come back intact, Qin Zheng would lose the title of number one power in the world and accumulate in the hatred in the hearts of many families in the Qin state will inevitably be ignited, and the state of Qin may explode because of this. This matter is absolutely impossible. If we do not say how much we have lost, people in the world will definitely think that the rumors are true, and the consequences will be disastrous. The best news for us now is that the Central Plains has been under this. Spirit rain is a water attribute, and everyone knows that the king is a dark attribute. The king is not dead yet, so everyone must have scruples. The best way we can only discuss with each foundation building is one way to ensure the stability of each city, and everything will be fine when the king comes back. Li Si said. Li Si agreed to put all the foundation building back in, so that at least the Guanzhong area can be guaranteed to be intact. After those foundation building realms return, they must gain rights. Qin will recall most of the sharp soldiers back to Guanzhong. This is equivalent to exchanging the city for those aristocratic families to temporarily rule the urban areas outside the Guanzhong area. Li Si is going to let Qin protect himself. Several important officials of the Qin state wanted to voice their opposition when they heard this, but in the end they did not speak, because no one knows how long they will need to hold Qin Zheng to come back. Abandoning these districts will enable Qin to keep the core area and not have to confront outside the Guanzhong area in winter. Worried about the city's defense. If Qin Zheng could come back, they didn't say to return these cities to the foundation building of these aristocratic families, and Qin Zheng would be able to take them back easily. 98%. Chapter 557. On June 6, Weisung became more lively than ever. In the past few days, more and more people applied to settle in Weisung. Part of it was because the families of Yan Kingdom chose to relocate to Weisung, and some families felt that Weisung Fortress is safer. This is because the place where the world's most powerful man lives, even if it does not have the strong spiritual qi of the Eastern District, is much better than other cities. The quality of education, medical care, and life here is much higher than that of Shacheng. Hua Zichen heard the report from the guard in the Fuzhong that King Lu was visiting, and he asked Princess Jila and the two children to inform them to meet them in person. King Lu was taken into the mansion by Hua Zichen, and the two came to the living room of the main courtyard together. At this time Princess Jila came with her two children. I have seen my father, why not let me know in advance when I visit today, so that my daughter can make arrangements early, sons, call grandpa. Princess Jila was also very happy to see the arrival of King Lu. Although she is now in the Shantian realm, she also puts her mind on family management and children's education. There are now more than 20 concubines in Hua Zichen. His stomach has not changed since he gave birth to these two sons. As a royal family, it is also very important to manage the Gao family. Two good grandchildren, let grandpa take a look. They are all this tall. Have you gone to school? Wang Lu couldn't let the two children speak, and it won't work if they like them, because he knows that the two children are not low qualified. What King Lu likes most is those high qualified talents, and what Lu is lacking is such talents at the saint child level. I have seen grandpa, we too have already gone to school, and are now in the first grade at the academy. The two children politely said to King Lu, who looked at them with unrestrained appearance and loved them even more. Last year, the two of them entered the family academy to study and were assigned to Class A. Their scores have always been in the top 3. Wang Sheng checked their qualifications, and if they both work hard in the future, there is a possibility of sanctification. Hua Zichen looked at the two sons and said with a look of affection. When the two sons of Hua Zichen were just 12 years old, they were sent to the family academy. All the direct descendants of the third rank and above in China will send their children to the family academy, especially the royal family. Oh, that's great. You should not be far from the gold core realm now. In the future, 2 children will be promoted to gold core. If you have 3 gold cores in your family, that would be terrible. Wang Lu looked at Hua Zichen with his 2 children, he couldn't help but envy. Lu Guo has not found a person with sanctification until now, which made him feel jealous towards the Hua family. My father-in-law came to Weisung today. It should be something. Or we will eat and say, I have sent people to get back dragon meat and sky blue whale meat. The medicine tastes very good, you should try it more. Hua Zichen said. The two came to the restaurant together. All the meals were ready. After they were seated, King Lu and Hua Zichen drank 3 glasses of spirit wine, and couldn't help but ask about the battle between Hua Kai and Qin Zheng. I haven't seen the specifics of the first battle that day. King Qin was bound to die, and Care carelessly let King Qin be rescued by Blood Dragon Pond, but Qin Zheng was indeed dying at the time. Hua Zichen said. That's really a shame. If Qin Zheng falls, China's national reunification of the Central Plains will become very simple. As long as Qin Zheng is not dead, everything will be changed. I heard that Qin Zheng's great summer dragon sparrow was captured by the King of China. I don't know if this is true. Wang Lu looked at Hua Zichen and asked. This is true. Half a month ago, Care gave me Great Summer Dragon Sparrow and helped me eliminate Great Summer Dragon Sparrow mental energy. Now Great Summer Dragon Sparrow is my weapon. NS. Hua Zichen said that he took out the Big Sha Dragon Sparrow. King Lu just glanced at it and knew that this divine armament would not be fake. Qin Zhengying lost his own divine armament and was also wiped out of his spiritual imprint. This is truly defeated. Head thoroughly. Don't you Hua family practice guns? Why do you also use swords? King Lu stared at Big Sha Long without blinking, and said to Hua Zichen. I use a gun instead of a knife. I'm studying saber technique recently, to see if I might find an opportunity to condense gold core. You can ask Care if you want Ling Bao. Maybe it depends on the friendship between our two countries. He can exchange a few pieces with you. Hua Zichen took back Great Sha Long and said. Haha, I heard that China has found ancient relics on the overseas fairy islands. It seems that the news is correct. Many families in China have changed to Lingbao, but how can ordinary Lingbao compare with Big Sha Long? It used to be an artifact of the Zhou dynasty. The seal of the kingdom is also in the hands of China, and now with the addition of Great Summer Dragon Bird, Qin's national fortune should have been almost completely taken away by China. Nowadays, there is no need for the King of China to do it. It only takes 3 to 5 years. It can become an existence that surpasses the Qin and Chu two countries, when China will dominate the world as it should be. Wang Lu looked at Hua Zichen and said. So the father-in-law came to Huacheng today to find out about Qin Zheng's situation and make plans for Lu Guo's future. Hua Zichen asked directly. Zichen, based on the relationship between the two of us, I have nothing to hide from you. The country of Yan has returned to the country of China, and the country of Lu has now become the weakest of the 4 sovereign states in the Central Plains, and it is also the most central position of the other 3 countries. I have the intention of submitting to China, but I also have to know the attitude of the King of China. Wang Lu looked at Hua Zichen, drank a glass of spirit wine and said. Father-in-law, the relationship between China and Lu is not comparable to any other country. China can have today's help from Lu, and Lu's prosperity today is also the result of cooperation and mutual assistance with China. You don't need to ask Care to study more China's system, and you will know what Lu will do in the future. As for what China can give to Lu, what can it give to Lu's royal family, aristocratic families and people, there are results in it. Hua Zichen said to King Lu. The two said that they did not shy away from Princess Jila and the 2 children, because if Lu Guo took refuge in China, he would definitely belong to the line of Hua Zichen, and they would be a lineup in the future. Ji Li's prestige and influence are not small in the entire Chinese family, not to mention the 2 children as saint sons. King Lu returned to China in 3 days. After returning, he carried a pile of books to study carefully in the palace of Lu. He often invited several important ministers of Lu to discuss together in his study. A discussion would be a whole night. On June 16, Lu state arrived in another early dynasty. This time, almost all families above the 6th rank in Lu state were summoned. Everyone was smiling. Qin Zheng seriously injured the situation in the world and the outside of Lu state. The threat was reduced by more than half. They are the closest allies to China, and the future of Lu is bound to get better and better. The early dynasty was still the same as before. They all talked about the elimination of wild beasts, city repairs, militia training, and trade with China. King Lu just listened carefully to the reports of the officials. When the early dynasty was about to end, he told the eunuchs around him. Beckoning, several eunuchs came over carrying a large pile of books. King Lu picked up a copy of General Code of China and walked off the throne. Recently, the kings of Japan have carefully read China's General Code and various other codes, and they have gained a lot. The prosperity of China lies not only in the Chinese family, but also in the aristocratic families, scholars, craftsmen, and even common people of China. Through these laws and regulations, the King of China has pointed out the direction for everyone, thus uniting the entire China. Today I have another thing. That is, there are rumors that Chufu City has recently fallen out of the state of Lu that must be subordinated to the state of China. Do you have any ideas? Wang Lu said to the 100 officials below the stage. Everyone in the audience was silent. They didn't know if King Lu really thought that way. If you didn't dare to say that you should submit to China, wouldn't it be death? You can speak freely. We all know the situation in Lu. It is not easy to be able to persist among the three countries of China, Qin, and Chu. If we dominate the world, it is tantamount to idiotic dreams. My Lu family is not reluctant to be a royal family. You all know the relationship between me and the King of China. What do we have to say when we call everyone here today? Wang Lu said. Everyone heard what King Lu said, and they all knew that he was sincerely finding a way for the country of Lu. Without a gold core, the country of Lu could not compete with China, Qin, and Chu. If this continues, their lives will be very difficult. Many people have started whispering and discussing quietly. When King Lu saw that there was no organization here, he asked everyone to discuss it first. After waiting for half an hour, the discussion became louder and louder. Then King Lu coughed and everyone fell silent. Today we will also learn from the China National Union Chamber, and come to a vote. As long as half of the third rank and above families are willing to join China now, we will hold a vote for the whole family of Lu. More than half of the families agree and the number of opponents is less than 30%. We can only pass the decision. Today we will vote for families with the third rank and above. Now everyone can start making decisions. Let me start. Quote. Wang Lu said that a eunuch brought a large cardboard box. After writing the paper and pen, Wang Lu took the paper and pen given by the eunuch and threw it into the box. Then he stood aside and waited for others to vote. When King Lu voted, he did not use mental energy to protect the content of the note. Therefore, I know King Lu's choice in the foundation building environment. After seeing King Lu's choice, they all voted on stage one by one. Voting statistics have been released. There are 17 families with the third rank and above in the Lu Kingdom. Among them, 17 of them voted. 17 people agreed with Lu's return to China, and none of them abstained or opposed. 3 days later, all Lu family members went to the palace of Lu to decide whether to return to China. After Wang Lu finished talking about the hundreds of officials who retired one by one, it turned out that all aristocratic families above the third rank and above were unified into the country of China, so what do they still have to choose from these families? What use is it for them to submit to their own small family to oppose? However, many Lu family members just went home and checked all the codes of China, and they basically understood why King Lu did this, because they can fight for more rights and interests for themselves after they become a member of China in the future. 98%. Chapter 558. 5 years later. On June 19, 2008, more than 90% of the Lu family members agreed with Lu's return to China. King Lu asked people to pass the Lu's decision to Huakai, and at the same time began to prepare for Huakai. Huakai heard the news that Lu Guo was going to submit the next morning. He looked at the letter that King Lu wrote to himself and couldn't help but nodded. The vote of King Lu was beautiful. This minimized the repulsion and friction between the cultures and customs of the two countries, and promoted the integration between the two countries. It also gave the royal family and aristocratic families of the Qin and Chu countries. We set an example. You tell King Lu that I will go to Chufu City on July 1st to accept Lu's submission. At that time, the 3 major institutes of China will also send people to take over Lu. China's 7 elite legions will inevitably have at least 2 corps stationed on the border of Lu State. Before July 1st, the State Council will raid all the families in Lu State, and then they will be able to enjoy the treatment of the family. In addition, Kuchi City will remain under the management of the Lu family, and all the city shops will belong to the Lu family. Huakai also gave the Lu family the best reward. Kuchi City was originally the ancestral land of the Lu family. As the 4th largest city in the Lu country, it has a population of more than 150,000. All shops in the city are owned by the Lu family. This can guarantee the Lu family. Thousands of members have food and clothing. Wu Yu. The country of Lu returned to China. Everyone took it for granted. The country of Lu did not have the strength to contend for hegemony. It left the pressure of the beasts and the pressure of the Qin and Chu to China. This can greatly preserve the strength of each family, especially it is the strength of the foundation building. In this way, China has 2 more prefectures in the country of Lu. The land area of China in a leap surpasses that of Qin and Chu, with a population of 12 million. This is a huge number. If the population of a country in eastern China exceeds 10 million, it is basically considered to have entered the dynasty era. What is missing now is the influence of China. To solve this problem, we must first eliminate the wild beasts and let the country of China. The most important thing is to be able to live in peace first. Huakai sent a total of 90,000 elite troops of Azure Dragon Corps, Zhao Guoaojingqi, and Qilin Corps to the border of Lu State, and dispatched 150,000 ordinary soldiers from Lu State to supplement Huacheng and Shacheng, so that China can quickly control Lu. The country is in control. King Lu began to move a large number of important personnel from the Lu family to Weiseng in July. He intends to let the Lu family feel at ease to develop in Weiseng. The purpose of the Lu family is to cultivate a gold core level so that the Lu family can be promoted to the first rank. Family. After China ruled over Yan and Lu, many people thought that the grassland countries would join China soon, but Huakai rejected the surrender of the Patriarch Tifa and Ujimukan. There are many grassland tribes and many tribes. They are all used to the free life. If China wants to unify the grassland, these tribes will definitely disagree. If the smooth grassland is messed up, it will not be easy to deal with, and it will be very good to keep the current situation. Huakai knows that to solve the problem of grassland tribes, it must be comprehensive in terms of culture, customs and economics to allow the other party to obey. China started from the founding of the country. No, it should be Huakai's preparation for assimilation of grassland culture from the first visit to the grassland. Now everything is developing in the direction he hopes. As long as the time is up, the tribes of the grassland are completely unable to leave the country of China and leave the Central Plains, then the unification of the grassland will become simple. In this way, the country of China continued the pace of cleaning up wild beasts for another year. Each of the 17 counties reported the situation of wild beasts, and demonic beasts in their areas to the military academy. Lian Po assembled the high-end battle of China. Power, divide all the desolate beast areas and clear them out. If he encounters demonic beasts in that mountain forest, he will take action by himself. If you encounter demonic beasts who are not sure to kill, Lian Po will tell Huakai to let him deal with Wukong. Hua Mo is working hard to turn all the mountains where the wild beasts gather in China into a plain, so that the wild beasts can survive. The space is compressed, and the country of China becomes safer in the wild. Huakai still spends his thoughts on the promotion of Gold Core to the great perfection. He has written more and more novels with the Song Dynasty and Qing Dynasty in his mind as the world background. More and more people are studying the social system with two worlds as the background, and at the same time, more and more people love Red Mansion and Water Margin. Time flies quickly. In a blink of an eye, I came to China for 13 years. Huakai is over 40 years old, which is very young for a king of the Gold Core realm. Sitting in the study room and combining the original Journey to the West, after 5 years of filling with the power of Gold Core, now the world of Journey to the West has finally recovered, and it is more perfect than before. Qin Zheng's Killing World has now been combined with the Westward Journey Shira World, turning the Westward Journey World that was originally the 3 realms into the 4 worlds. Shira World is dominated by killing. Without any reason, enter Shira Jia trial is more suitable for some generals and elite soldiers. Suddenly Huakai's heart moved. Red Mansion originally appeared in front of him. Huakai saw Red Mansion originally turned into a phantom and flew over the palace. His mental energy could not help being included in the world of Red Mansion. The story of Red Mansion from the sky went quickly. Everyone in Weiseng looked at the sky and couldn't help being attracted by all this, and their hearts seemed to be attracted. Many people couldn't help crying. Huakai recovered his mind from the world of Red Mansion. He quickly understood that Red Mansion was finally promoted to the sacred book. The world of Red Mansion could allow men and women to enter the world of the Red Mansion and experience a love catastrophe together. In the plot, a male incarnate Jia Baoyu. There can be many women, and after experiencing love, it can make people feel the hardship of feelings more deeply, which is far worse than the world of Journey to the West and 3 Kingdoms. But the good point is that it only takes 1 hour to enter the world of Red Mansions, and you can stay in this world for 18 years. If the couple can be better for the relationship, you can enter it and experience it, or bring his concubine, room. Huakai put away the original Red Mansion. At this time, Warentuya, Shui Yiyu and others had already arrived. They all liked the Red Mansion novel. They were very happy to see the Red Mansion finally promoted to the sacred book. Congratulations to the king for being promoted to the sacred canon in the Red Chamber. You are now the first person in 100 families to surpass Kong Zisheng to achieve the 3 sacred canon. Warentuya looked at Hua Kai and said with a smile. But this gold core realm Zochin breakthrough is really difficult. I have sensed the threshold of promotion, but that step can't be crossed anyhow. Hua Kai felt the powerful heaven and earth origin power enter his body and his physique. Ascension and willpower are a little bit, but the vigor value is still 79 points immobile. The king doesn't need to be too anxious. Now you are only 40 years old, and you are not in a hurry to break through now. To lay the foundation for the future promotion to the god of transformation and even higher realm is the most important thing. Chengmin has already agreed with my father, Wang, that he will return to China in the beginning of the spring of this year. King, do you really plan to set up a separate house for Chengmin so that he can manage grassland affairs now? Yurantuya looked at Hua Kai and asked. The grassland area is not smaller than the Central Plains at all, and although there are not as many wild beasts as the Central Plains, the life environment is even more difficult. The system of the Central Plains cannot be completely applied to the tribes in the grassland. Only me and Chengmin can do this in China. As the son of China, Chengmin should assume these responsibilities for China. He stayed in the grassland for 6 years and understood the life of all the countries in the grassland, including the herdsmen in Wusun country. No one is more suitable to manage the entire grassland than him. Hua Kai said. Hua Chengmin stayed in the grassland for 6 years, and what Hua Kai did not expect was that the 4th gold core in China was not Hua Zichen, not Hua Mo, Shui Chen and Warentuya, but that only Hua Chengmin, 12-year-old son of China. Hua Kai has used many methods and has always wanted to upgrade the average qualification of Wei Sung to level B. He used a lot of elixir to deploy as many personnel with A and above qualifications to Wei Sung life, but these highly qualified people are all for those with family members. Hua Kai has been watching the changes in the average qualification of Wei Sung until last October, when Hua Chengmin turned 12 years old, the average qualification of Wei Sung reached the B level. One person pulls the will of a million giant city, which surprised Hua Kai. Hua Kai once thought that his son would be very qualified, but he was surprised when he could check his son's attributes. Hua Chengmin. Gold Core Level 1. Qualification. Shantian Dao Fei, Special Eucharist. Physique. 79. Strength. 71. Will. 72. Talent skills. Dao Body is born, Tianwei Heart, Spirit Beast Communication, Memorable, Inferential, Dao Darling. Dao Body Innate. The innate system reaches the foundation building realm great perfection. Shantian True Qi runs through the whole body and integrates the 3 powers, and there is no barrier before the gods are transformed. Heart of Tianwei. Comprehension speed of all skills and rules power ascension 100%, ascension speed increased by 100%. Spirit Beast Communication. Have a natural ability to communicate with Spirit Beast. Dao Darling. It can make all creatures feel intimacy with it. Wherever it goes, it can bring good luck to everything around it, and those who have the intention to kill it will have bad luck again and again. Closing parenthesis. Will of Water. Level 5, 6%. Will of Fire. Level 5, 6%. The Will of Gold. Level 5, 6%. Will of the Wood. Level 5, 6%. Will of the Earth. Level 5, 6%. Novelist. Everyone. Confucianism. Everyone. Taoism. Everyone. Founder. Everyone. Gongsun family. Everyone. Mind method. Golden Eagle Ju Tian level advanced mind method consummation. Meditation Ju Tian level advanced mind method consummation. Figure Ghost 8 segments classic intermediate mental method of heaven order Dacheng. Martial skill. Frost arrow method sky level advanced arrow method. Split air spear sky level advanced marksmanship Dacheng. Dotting gun, sky level advanced marksmanship, Dacheng. Shaking hammer, intermediate level hammer method, Xiaocheng. Qingyu sword, sword technique, Xiaocheng. Hot blood saber, Tian level low level saber technique, Xiaocheng. Loyalty. 100. This is the most magnificent attribute Hua Kai has ever seen. All members of the philosophers have learned more than 30 minds and martial skills. To say that no one can do anything about Tianzhao, but he is still underage, and his combat experience is still insufficient, it is not bad that the strength of the gold core environment can be used up to the great perfection of the foundation building. 98%. Chapter 559 Gold Core Realm Zochin. In the past few years, Hua Chengmin has left countless praises on the grasslands. He has helped many bottom herders fight for many rights, helped countless tribes to establish closer relations with China, and led them out of poverty, especially in the communication of the leaders of the big tribes is even more recognized by all the leaders of the big tribes. He brought various spirit pills and divine armament to the tribes, making the tribes stronger and more united. Yiyu, this red mansion, was originally intended to let people enter a trial of emotions. You can take care of it. The men and women who enter the trial must be married couples. Entering without marriage may have a great impact on her relationship for the rest of her life. In the name of the Royal Palace of China, tell all aristocratic families that this secret realm world can be entered with money, and the money you earn will be used by your sisters to buy jewelry and clothes. Hua Kai handed the red mansion to Shui Yiyu originally. Hua Kai is to earn some pocket money for his princesses. Each of them is working hard for the Hua family. Every month belongs to the owner's money but very little. Hua Kai originally handed the red mansion to Shui Yiyu. The family members of the Hua family have increased their contacts with the family members of other families. Hua Kai's concubines already have 7 people in the foundation building, and the rest are in the Shantian realm. Yurantuya has been staying in the foundation building realm for 6 years. Shui Yiyu happily took over the original red mansion. This is a holy book. There are now only 11 books in the entire world. Each holy book has its own world and supernatural powers. This shows that Hua Kai most values himself among all the princesses. When everyone left, Hua Kai came to the meditation room. This time, Red Mansion was promoted to the holy book. Hua Kai did not have much joy, because his hard work for many years may be wrong. Specializing in the virtual world does not give him much ascension. His physique will have already reached the realm of transforming gods, but his vigor cannot be ascension. Hua Kai entered into the strength training secret realm. He did not ride the Luma, but crossed the bridge alone. After walking for more than 6 hours, all kinds of giant pythons and dragons appeared around Hua Kai. They all have the strength of the elementary demonic beasts, but they will not explode. The ice shield around Hua Kai has been maintained. Without breaking, he used the night gun to continuously kill the demonic beasts in front of him, and walked forward strenuously. Slowly, Hua Kai had to use the power of gold core to make up for the consumption of true qi in his body. Last time he started using the power of gold core in this place, and after a kilometer away, he would probably get the power of gold core. Consume it all and end the trial. Hua Kai also felt that he was so passive. He gave all his attacks to the scary night shot, and then the power of will weakened the speed and response of the surrounding attackers. The strength was completely used for defense, so the battle was the most stable. Whether he has reached his limit, he knows best, and it is completely impossible to get hurt. But here is the family secret realm space. Death is just the end of the trial. I have never obtained a little vigor after so many years of trials. All my vigor is derived from meditation art and his SSS plus talent. Hua Kai couldn't help but fall into it. Meditation. He remembered the battle with Qin Zheng 5 years ago. Qin Zheng's attack power was very strong, but his defense power was very average. Every time he fought with him, Qin Zheng was injured badly, but he was the strongest person in the world at that time. The opponent was almost the same, with Jingye Gun, Cao Shai, and Wukong helping, but it was so difficult to defeat Qin Zheng. Why? Thinking of this, Hua Kai couldn't help but remember that Qin Zheng is a strategist sage. The strategist will balance offense and defense. Gongsun's family is completely offensive instead of defensive. They are the strongest among all scholars. Could it be that they used true qi and are the others different? A wandering Hua Kai ice shield was breached by demonic beasts, and he was instantly killed. Opened his eyes, Hua Kai came to the study. He picked up the masterpieces of military masters and some books of the Gongsun family and read them carefully. These Hua Kais had been read many times before. This time he found that the biggest difference between the two schools and other schools is pay attention to the will to fight. Hua Kai took out the wind and fire futon and entered the dream viewing ideas sleeping space. He checked the books and illusions of the military family and the Gongsun family over and over again, and gradually got a different feeling. What the military strategists and Gongsun's family will do is to send own will into martial skill and true qi. Hua Kai used to think that this will is the power of will. After in-depth research, he found that the will here is actually the same. A kind of own world, just like Qin Zheng's killing the world. Thinking of this, Hua Kai felt that true qi, will, and mental energy in his body were rapidly revolving around gold core, and all his surroundings became a frost world. Even if he didn't need to pay attention to it, these regional spaces would revolve with the power of his own will. Getting up has no effect on the battle, but the effect is actually great. Kai woke up from the dream space of Big Dream View. His mental energy had fully recovered, and he came to the Vigor Training Secret Realm again. Kai quietly felt the changes in his surrounding environment, and he suddenly felt that even if it was here virtual training secret realm, he feels that everything around him is so kind, and his body's true chi, willpower, and mental energy are all slowly consuming. Kai sees that he uses gold core support to consume energy directly. The kind around him, the space unique to own, suddenly became much larger, and Kai should have discovered that the surrounding space did not consume the energy in the gold core. After those energies come out of gold core, they maintain this kind of space around themselves, but they form a special energy cycle with gold core. His true chi no longer needs to be fused with the power of will, which is controlled by gold core. In the space, energy is more powerful and simpler than the power of fusion. It turns out that everything is so simple. I have the Big Dream View idea God level mental method. As long as I carefully observe these should not be discovered now, all the original temptations and researches have actually gone on the wrong path. Try me today. Is his new insight right? Kai silently thought that he opened the scope of Own's meaning, and entered the bridge of trial. Kai felt that those little snakes entered the scope of Own's meaning, and their actions quickly appeared in his mind. He can easily avoid the opponent's attack without having to look at it. Fast forward for half an hour. Kai has entered the place where he started to use the power of gold core last time, and now he only consumes less than half of the gold core realm, and true chi in his body, power of will, and mental energy. It didn't use much. This time he didn't use the ice shield, and it turned out to be more relaxed than before. A flood dragon of the demonic beasts level suddenly appeared behind Kai. Kai knew that this was a demonic beast with talented supernatural powers. He did not panic at all. The shield of ice appeared behind him, waiting for the flood dragon to appear. The shield suddenly exploded, and the strong ice will quickly cause the dragon to lose its reaction speed. Kai's night gun quickly pierced the opponent's forehead. A trace of true chi exploded rapidly from the tip of his gun, and the dragon was killed instantly. This way of fighting makes Kai feel that everything is much easier than before. The energy in his gold core is getting less and less. Slowly he finds that all his surrounding opponents have become intermediate demonic beasts, and hundreds of intermediate demonic beasts. He used the ice shield to resist. At most 1 minute of the trial was over, but now he is mainly moving and advancing on the side battles. After an hour, Kai has given up using the ice shield, and his energy is all put it on the bridge to kill demonic beasts and pass the trial. Kai felt that true chi in his body was getting less and less, and his injuries were getting heavier. This kind of trial made Kai feel incredibly happy, instead of entering the vitality training secret realm for the sake of adding attributes. Kai has forgotten everything. It keeps fighting with various intermediate dragons, allosauruses, and upgraded pythons. I don't know how many intermediate demonic beasts have been killed. Suddenly a golden dragon appears. Kai can feel the power on his body. Strength. The opponent quickly came behind him. Kai knew that he could not escape, and he didn't want to hide. Jian attacked the opponent with all his strength. A violent pain spread throughout Kai's body. He severely injured the golden dragon with this shot, and he was also seriously injured by the opponent's blow. Kai did not recall the Jia gun and was overwhelmed by countless groups of intermediate demonic beasts. In an instant, he disappeared in the strength training secret realm. System prompt. Vitality training secret realm. The trial is over. The score is 101,382 meters, the distance is 41,682 meters, and the reward is 1 point. Kai couldn't help but smile when he heard the system prompt. This was the happiest time of all his trials, because this family secret realm space is not only an attribute of being able to ascension alone, but also allowing people to continuously ascension own from it. Insufficient, it has the same effect as actual combat. Open your own properties panel. Kai. Gold core level 9. Qualification. SSS plus. Physique. 83. Strength. 80. Will. 82. Xuanbing wool. 7th level 8%. Resistance. High-grade ice antibody 94%. Supernatural powers. Illusory world. Power of dominance. Novelist. Sage. Gongsun family. Giant. Confucianism. Giant. Taoism. Everyone. Mind method. Meditation Ju Tian level advanced mind method Zochin. Marksmanship. Split air spear sky level advanced marksmanship great perfection. Saber technique. 18 swords sky level advanced saber technique great perfection. Mind method, novelist, the basic skills of copywriting, TN level advanced mental method, Dzogchen. Special mind method. Great dream view idea, God level consummation. Special skill. Real eye cannot be upgraded. Although the system showed that it was still at the 9th level of the gold core realm, Wakai had already come to the door of the transcendent God realm this time. As long as he was ascension one step, he could be promoted to the realm of transcendent God, which is the realm that everyone desires now. System reminder. After completing the 12th main task, you will get a reward Sky 9 cycles gold core, Qingqiu Mountain, and qualification pill 100 bottles. Sky Nian Xian level primary spirit treasure, the king's car, with the universe inside, can resist all physical attacks below the Hua Shen realm, shield mental energies detection, and weaken the enemy's 50% willpower attack. 9 cycles gold core, 9 cycles pill. After taking it, you will obtain the Shantian hybrid body, the cultivation base will get a large ascension, and the lifespan will increase by thousands of years. Qingqiu Mountain 1, a fairy-level spirit mountain that can raise 9-tailed spirit foxes. Qualification Dan, 100 bottles, Ascension Cultivation Qualification after taking it. 98%. Chapter 565 Elements Mountain Promotion. Huakai extracted the 12 rewards of the main mission and saw the 9 cycles gold core. 9 cycles gold core. He took it directly. What China needs most now is his strength. Huakai feels that the own gold core is spinning fast, and the gold core is spinning fast after absorbing the energy of 9 cycles gold core. The energy in 9 cycles gold core is an energy similar to the power of gold core, but the 3 powers are compatible but seem more thorough. Wakai felt that his own true chi was changing rapidly, and his physique was also undergoing changes. Wakai felt that his consciousness suddenly became extremely clear. Anything can be quickly understood with a little thought. Wakai knows himself. This opportunity cannot be wasted. He put his mind into the world of Journey to the West. He thought about the shortcomings of the world of Journey to the West. With his constant changes and supplements, the power of the world's origin has become very strong, and the whole world of spirit treasures and creatures cannot help but begin to change. Getting stronger and stronger. After Wakai sank into his mind, he forgot all the time. He quickly corrected every small flaw in the world of Journey to the West, and his mental energy and willpower seemed to be endless, looking at this small flaw. After being repaired, Huakai looked at the world with immense pride. Suddenly, a great power breakthrough in the westward journey world. The entire westward journey world is in rapid ascension. Huakai felt that the energy of his gold core realm was quickly consumed, but soon it was able to be fully replenished by the 9 cycles gold core until he discovered that Journey to the West finally appeared in the world of gold core realm great perfection, and the world of Journey to the West became more real. Suddenly Huakai has a clear understanding that in the westward journey world, there can be no transcendence realm. If they appear, they will definitely break free from the control of their own. And this world has reached the limit of the virtual world, and then ascension will inevitably turn the virtual into reality and become a new world. Huakai felt that the effect of 9 cycles gold core had not disappeared. He put his mind into the 5 elements mountain, and suddenly the infinite power of Journey to the West was drawn into the 5 elements mountain. 5 elements mountain completely turning into the heart of this world. Various forces will enter the 5 elements mountain from the westward journey world, and the Huakai spirit is outside the 30th third stage of the westward journey world, quietly sensing the rotation of the power of the world's rules. When Wakai woke up again, he slowly opened his eyes from the sitting room. Mind invested in Journey to the West. This world has become vast, with its area more than doubled, and the whole world has been enlarged a lot. There are various creatures in it, many of which did not exist before. 5 elements mountain standing between the sky and the earth, it is 100 times larger than before. There are various spiritual relics and spirit treasures everywhere. Wakai stretched out his hand and a spiritual fruit appeared in his hand. This 5 elements mountain has been turned into reality. 5 elements mountain promoted from the high-level Lingbao to the elementary fairy, and also has the storage function. 5 elements mountain the inner core area of 9,999 cubic meters, the value of this Lingbao suddenly ascension a large part. Because of the family secret realm space in China, the importance of space spirit treasures has become more important. Nowadays, the spirit treasures that the Hua family can store in addition to Wakai's portable space and 8 treasure glass bottles. Shui Chen's Dragon Carp Inkstone, Hua Zichen's 8 treasure night armor, Hua Chengmin's demon lantern, there is only Lingbei that cannot be placed in the Lingbao space, and one more is completely made by Hua. The fairy level spirit treasure 5 elements mountain that Kai has mastered can be used by everyone as long as Huakai is willing, and it can be used as a warehouse for the Hua family. As long as Huakai is willing, any core member of the family can be taken anywhere. And it can be recovered at any time. What changes will happen in the world trial of Journey to the West, Huakai has tried to know. After reading the world of Journey to the West, he checked his own attribute again. This 9 cycles gold core not only made his 3 major attributes 2 points of ascension, but he also obtained a special fairy body Shantian Hunyuan body. Any energy entering his body can be turned into Hunyuan Chi feedback his gold core, which is equivalent to absorbing part of the damage and converting it into own blood volume, making Huakai's combat strength more ascension. Huakai will look at Sky 9 again. This elementary artifact needs to be protected. Huakai has already handed the town demon lantern to Hua Chengmin. In the future, it may also be given to him by Chuan Guoxi, so Hua Chengmin will have 2 immortal artifacts, safe enough to guarantee. It's just that Warentuya doesn't have any good spirit treasures. The bows and arrows she uses are still spirit weapons. Nian's defense function can protect Warentuya's safety. As for the last special spiritual treasure Qingqiu Mountain, I thought about several SS plus qualified personnel from the Hua family, grandfather Hua Xing, fourth uncle Hua Zawan, cousin Hua Yu, Hua Li, because this is a spirit beast 9-tailed fox. See the introduction 9-tailed fox. It belongs to fairy beasts in adulthood. It is at the same level as the beasts, but the beasts do not like to fight. They are more spiritual than humans and must be people without a trace of karma. Responsible is good. After thinking about Huakai, I finally gave Qingchushan to Princess On Qiqi. She is the highest-willed woman in China, except for Warentuya. She has a naive personality and has never killed her. Everyday cultivation is like playing. He didn't give birth to a son and a half for Huakai, so I don't know where he went to play now. The rewards for the main mission 12 have been decided. Huakai looked at the 100 bottles of qualification pills in front of him. Among them, 22 bottles of the best qualification pills, 25 bottles less than a quarter of the probability, showed that he was right. The luck is not so good. After putting all qualification Dan into the portable space, Huakai sensed that Wufu was waiting for him outside the meditation room. Generally, Wufu was looking for him because something important had happened. Feeling his joy, Huakai knew that it would be a good thing. Huakai was not in a hurry to watch the content of the main mission 13. He walked out of the sitting room and Wufu quickly walked over. Wufu general manager, but you have something to look for this king. Huakai asked when he walked out of the sitting room. Shang Wang, did you break through? Wufu asked in surprise, because when he was close to Huakai, he felt that he seemed to be disconnected from heaven and earth. Huakai once said that if you are close to Qin Zheng, your emotions will be affected. He influences that if he is willing, ordinary people can't even draw spiritual qi from heaven and earth. Well, this time I have occasional insights and gained a lot. Talking about your happy event makes this king happy too. Huakai said with a smile. My lord, Tang Lei entered the Undead Army Secret Realm trial. He was promoted to Undead King just now. Although he has only the foundation building realm, his combat power is no longer inferior to that of Dean Lianpo. Undead Legion cooperate. His combat power is no weaker than Director Zhao Dan. Hua Fu said. China has one more gold core combat power. As the strongest guardian of the Chinese family, Undead Legion will become more powerful. Now the Undead Legion has more than 40 undead leaders, and there will be more Undead King appeared. Huakai said with a smile. 2 people entered the family secret realm space. The Hua family now has 196 core members. This is the result of Huakai's strict control. Everyone is chatting about the Undead King in the conference hall. China has another one known as Gold Core. This represents a step forward in China's unification of the world. Seeing Huakai coming in, everyone saluted him. They saw the energy around Huakai's body that was not well controlled, and they all guessed that he had made a breakthrough. February has now entered, and spring is coming in 1 month. After 7 years of topographical transformation, all topographic maps of China have been included in the mountain and river map last year, and all mountain forests in China have been transformed. This winter, demonic beasts only appeared 7 times, and they were all on the southern border zone. This shows that the wild beasts have been almost eliminated by us, and the world will enter a period of peace within 3 years at most. Huakai said. All the core members of the Hua family listened quietly, because Hua Kai has rarely participated in the management of China, and he would not speak easily if it weren't for major events. The scale of the siege of the beasts of Qin and Chu this year has begun to decline compared with last year. The two countries are far worse than China, but we cannot underestimate their opponents. The populations of Qin and Chu are not much smaller than ours. The border between the two countries is now full of wild beasts and forests, and it is not easy to attack the two countries. Moreover, we have always been the concept of peaceful development, and we will continue to do so in the future. I have told you countless times that the main reason for the prosperity and development of China is that we hold a heart for the people of the world. I have heard a lot recently. Regarding the time prediction of China's dominance, these are unnecessary. Hua Kai said so. Everyone understands that he wants to discover peacefully and is not lying, because with the current strength of China, it is entirely possible to win the two countries of Qin and Chu. After China was annexed by Lu and Yan, the number of people in the foundation building was close to 100, while the number of people in the foundation building of Qin and Chu was about 140. 5 years have passed. The foundation building in China suddenly increased by more than 70 people, and the number has almost increased by half. However, the foundation building in the Qin and Chu two countries has dropped to about 60 people. In the past 5 years, in order to resist the demonic beast's attack. For the city, Chu and Qin paid too much. And now is the best time for China to dominate the world, because when the wild beasts are completely suppressed, Qin and Chu are likely to take this opportunity to regain their strength. At that time, it will be difficult for China to dominate the world again. In the past 5 years, under the guidance of the king, all kinds of new things have emerged in China. Various new workshops have made China the only superpower in the world, and China has established its own dynasty. Even if I don't take the initiative to attack Qin Chu, I am confident that the Chinese Congress will unify the Central Plains. There is a limit to how much energy a country can do. Instead of spending time on fighting, it is better to continue on the road of development. I don't believe in Qin Chu. The development of the two countries can be comparable to ours. Since we can dominate the world without fighting, why should we recite that notoriety and provoke karma? Shui Chen said at this time. Karma. Shui Chen said at this time. Karma. Shui Chen said at this time.